And we are back, my people, for another beautiful Friday night, the Pro Quo Show. I
Yeah.
am. Oh, and to the left of me is Pro. What's up?
Yeah. Yo, we were a little glitchy there on that intro, man. I don't know what's going on there. A little glitchy on my side. How about for you?
My face was looking down the whole time because I was trying to figure out how to share
Well,
my phone.
man,
It was
I
lagging
tell
on me, man.
I tell you, it was doing some crazy things right there in my headphones. I hope the people didn't have to experience that. Maybe it was just me, but
Yeah.
woo, yeah, man, we here. We made
Hey,
it.
what's up, Matt? What's up, Patrick? Appreciate y'all joining in.
Yes, sir. Another week, and we made it to the finish line. We're here. We made it to the finish line more than one way today, right?
Laps. We're doing laps.
Laps, absolutely, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that May
Sprinter shoes are on, yo.
May 21st. Hey, I'm using a different computer today, and I'm.
Yeah, I just lost your audio, Pro. I wasn't sure if it was me, but your audio definitely on. As Pro was saying, he's using a new computer, and as you can tell, his black hat is that dope color right there, though. So we were like, you know what? We should get a batch of those made as well with that color. So, I think I hear you back, Pro.
I hope so. It's doing all kinds of weird things.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate everybody tuning in and following the journey. It is a journey.
It is, man. We here, man.
Tell them about your night. What happened with you the other night?
Oh man,
for 2 days.
Oh man, you know what I mean? Like, just. Actually, it's really been about the music, man. Is the only thing I can really think about really right now. You know, because today was just sitting in the chair, man, just getting the business stuff done, man. We've been doing the business and had my son do the taekwondo, my wife do the taekwondo last Sunday after we did the show. They had their all day belt test. You know, that stuff kind of came and went, and then we got into a week of where they don't have to do all the crazy preparation. So this week was just kind of chill, at least in that mode. But
yeah, shout out to 2 black belts.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not official.
Crazy.
They gotta wait. So because they could technically the grandmaster can say nope, sorry, which he's been known to do. So it is not official like our sponsorships. It is very they're very unofficial.
Close to official.
Belts. Yes.
Very close to official.
Yes. So they do not they have not earned the seal yet. They are still what's called Bow Black Belts. But anyways, man, we're making progress on the music. So it's been good. We getting that done. Summer, we've turned the corner where we are. It's like 90, 80s every day here now. So it's we in that summer grind mode, which is good timing because we finally get this music done, man. You feel good about that or what?
I feel phenomenal. And first and foremost, 5/21, 2021. Shout out to Ma Dukes. Mama, I love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It was a year ago today that we had a nice long talk about the future and, you know,
Thanks,
about jumping in with both feet.
Mm.
And we've did that, Pro and I. And it's just amazing to see it all come together. So yes, boys and girls, we have put quite a bit of work in. And I was thinking earlier today, I'm like, man, when's the last time I went to the barber? Because everybody was telling me, yo, Jay, if you go to the barber, bro, you get it cleaned up. I'm like, yeah, you know. But I've been actually cutting my own hair since I was about 13, 12 years old.
Okay.
My mom went to school for hairdressing, and she had the clippers and all that. So I would, you know, take her clippers because I wanted to have my clean cut. I didn't want to be getting my hair cut once a month type thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I stayed up on it. But it was like, you know, at that point, I started doing my boys' hairs, and a couple of my other homies, they were doing the same thing. We had like we weren't getting paid for it, but we cutting each other's heads up to keep us fresh, off of the strength, right? And I learned that lesson early. Like, if you want it to happen, you got to go make it happen, and you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? And I think about all the stuff that I'm doing, you're doing, and for the fact that we're in-housing it ourselves, we're into it. It's not because we're cheap.
Whoa, maybe we are. Maybe we didn't pay our bill. Hold on, let me get Jay Cruz back.
Oh yeah, you know I'm here. I'm here.
Maybe we are cheap. You were saying, my bro.
Lights got cut off.
Lights got cut off, right? You know what I'm saying? It happens.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you don't pay the light bill.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, it's it takes a lot of self-worth, self-value to recognize what you're capable of doing. Like I
This
don't
kind of value.
believe
This kind of value.
Pro
Right there.
Beast, battle him and you will lose. Quote is dope. He does everything. I mean, I could if I had to. But on the
Absolutely.
strength, man, like, we journey through this together, and it's kind of I definitely have a lot of relief, because reality is I've been working on this for decades, trying to get a real official project, and it's decades that it took to make it happen. So it's never too late. It's just about making sure you really believe in what you're doing. You know what I mean? At least for me, because I had plenty of opportunities to do other stuff and I chose not to, you know? But yeah, man, self-worth,
Dude,
it's the key.
I hear you, man.
Right?
In moderation, right? We just gotta have it, like we talking about before, man. It's just like
Yeah.
we know our worth, and we try to make sure that we improving every day and that we don't get too comfortable.
Right.
Speaking of the comfortable theme, have you got a chance to check out the whole J. Cole thing yet? Have you checked out the documentary piece there to the off season? Have you heard the whole album?
I haven't watched TV in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm talking about his. I don't mean on TV. Like he put it like on
Okay.
YouTube and stuff like that. A little
Yeah, and I
documentary.
haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't paid attention to anybody but Pro Quo.
Yeah, I hear you. So he
You
talks
know?
about his whole metaphor and the whole thing is getting too comfortable. Talking about I'm still not sure where I stand on the album. It actually wasn't exactly what I hoped for. I mean, skills are undeniable, but it's basically like he's coming with some basically like, hey, I'm just a rapper. Don't expect too much out of me. Kind of like I just rap kind of stuff. Like less socially conscious kind of stuff. Just like almost taking the easy way out, and he's like on half the bars, he's talking, it's like you think of him as sort of that quasi-conscious MC with dope skill, not conscious, but like somebody who at least, what I'm saying, is like willing to go there. And on this album, he's not really willing to go there. It's just like there's a couple things he talks about. I got to give it another listen. I kind of skimmed through it, but
yeah, I'm definitely gonna peep it too. But I mean, dude's playing for
skills
a professional league. He's doing a lot of things this year. I did catch that.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of goes back to the point I was making too. I don't believe you could be a jack of all trades and master each one of them. You have to master one. Right. But you could be pretty damn good, right? At a couple. But that just shows you right there that he was doing a lot to prove that you still can, because I'm sure it's dope, but what we're looking for as adults, it's starting to get old, that taste. It's like, wash that taste out. We want something more now.
It's interesting. It's just an interesting take. And he goes, I feel like he's putting out the disclaimer a little bit, be like, oh, you know what I mean? But I'll have to hear it more. See what I really think.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pee, because I love Cole. I like his, just simply off of the positivity that he presents.
Yeah. I just didn't hear as much here. You know what I'm saying? He's talking.
Yeah, on record. That's what I'm saying. It's like on record, because like the freestyle that everybody was raving about, I'm like, okay, like don't get me wrong, the bars are dope, but what do you? I'm not getting the grown Cole kind of feel.
I didn't get it either, and I think it's because a lot of the stuff is stuff that he was talking about, like how he was saving stuff for the album, and how some of the stuff was like, he's not really necessarily feeling as much. He might not make the cut. And so I think he did use some stuff though from the past or whatever, and maybe it doesn't fit him. Maybe he just felt like he had to get it out. I'm not sure. I got to give another list, but
I almost feel like it's one of those things when he goes through. He's the type that when he made I can't remember the single, but he made a single and he regretted doing it. It just wasn't something that he wanted. He kind of learned from that experience. So it's almost like that. I think, if anything, the takeaway from what I'm seeing is the fact that he's doing some Bo Jackson type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing two professional high level things in the same year. Like that's salute that.
Yeah.
Because we know how much work it takes to do an album, obviously.
It's kind of like, so the metaphor would be like, you're trying to like teach courses, right? You're trying to teach at a high level, right? And it's like, no, I'm teasing. I mean, some things are easy to do than others, you know what I mean? But yeah, trying to be like
pro definitely,
pro player, it's tricky. Or it's like, it reminds me of Jay Cruz. It reminds me of somebody who's a video editor, filmer.
The list.
Yeah, just like
that's why. I kind of
banner maker.
I like that. I'd rather be that than just a rapper. You know, look at me as an artist, not just a rapper.
Yeah,
So like when I get on a mic, it's not like, yo, spit them bars. Like I'm not, you know,
yeah,
I gotta go. All right, let me go to my phone.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah.
spit you some bars. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be having to memorize stuff for shows. Like I
Right.
mean, I will if I have to get on Sway or whatever, but I'd rather walk around that. You know, I'd
Yeah.
be like, Sway, I'm using my phone, bro. I ain't doing that bar challenge thing. They memorize it anyway. They spend,
Mm.
you know, that's just how it goes. And what
I
up, Tree? Yo, what up, Fee? My man Fee.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Matt
Tree
Coburn
and Fee.
earlier. I missed you there earlier. I think I saw you. Michael checking in from Peabody. Yeah, Peabody.
That's
Mr.
what's up.
Peabody. Yes,
Do
sir.
those dishes. Yes. I love
Dishes and
doing
listen
dishes.
to
It's
us.
calming to the soul.
It is. It's like what did I see? What was that on the other day? Someone was mopping the floor and they were like mopping is calming. It was
Yeah.
like I like to mop. It's calm. I forget. It was probably a superhero movie. I can't remember.
It's like vacuuming, same thing. I think you know, as a kid you hate it. Most people. I have friends that actually they were disciplined with it, they enjoyed it. I
Mm,
never really dug it, but I think when you move out and then you realize that you're creative and you're gonna have a pigsty if you don't get a grip kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you go through that whirlwind of like disaster areas,
yeah, yeah.
clean it up, and then you're like, hey, never gonna happen again kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that way, man. I get that way. It's like even right now, I'm looking at a few things out of place, and I'm like, I'm getting anxious. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got to
Mm.
put those things back.
It well, and that's the thing too, especially I'm like not as in tune high level thinker as you. You're a very in tune
I got you
high level
fooled.
thinker.
I got you fooled.
No, I'm telling because you're what you just said is an example of that because I push that stuff in the back like you're bringing it to the forefront, which is the necessary habit to be to accomplish these things, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I push it and I shut it down. But reality is that's the worst thing to do because, you know, I know okay, there's a point. It's like there's a boiling point where I got to do it. You know,
mm,
I got to pick that up. I got to do. But I could like swipe it and just keep focused on what I'm doing.
hmm,
But it's better if I would have if that thing happened, I do it now. I don't have to. It's not bogging me down at all.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
I almost it's almost like reward and punishment. Like I
Mm,
sometimes will internally discipline myself that I will not do the fun things until I've taken care of all the stuff that is driving me crazy.
that's
Like
my
clean.
dad to a T, bro.
Yeah, that's how I am, man. It's like I'll clean
Yeah,
everything, and only when that's done will I write the rhyme. And then I'll have 5 minutes to write the rhyme before I go to bed. And that's like, speaking of which, Fee, I see you. Gonna get that rhyme for you, man.
Fee.
I gave him a little draft of a few
That you
bars.
see, bro. Fee say Pro Quo, the infamous. I like
Yeah,
that.
man. He's talking to you.
That I like that. Oh, well, that's us. All
He's
of
talking
us.
the infamous. Nah, yeah. But
Okay, wait till they hear. Wait till they hear what we got brewing, right, Fee? I ain't gonna
yeah,
say anything more than that because I don't know what's been told yet, but we got some heat.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man. Fee's got some stuff bubbling, man. We gotta get him up on here soon enough. Fee,
I know.
we should have the whole XCal reunion. That'd be funny, man. Put all the XCal, all the old XCal,
I
the
can't
sec
wait.
XCal 1, XCal 2.
I just gonna be in the. You're gonna put me in the top corner in the box. I just want to watch and listen that night. I'll chime
Yeah,
in here and there, but I'll be like just to see that vibe. And of course, I will have to beat Cruz and interject, but
yeah, man.
that's gonna be a
Yeah.
great episode for sure. We have to make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yo, we got coming up tonight. I hope she finds a way over here on time. The different time zones. Dr. V is trying to come on through. So I hope she
Yes.
I gotta check my social media, make sure she's not looking for us right now. She probably like, where are
Mm-hmm.
we? But she's coming through. She got a new
Shout
book,
out Freedom Corner brand. Oh yeah,
Freedom Corner.
talk about that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, she's got a so if y'all didn't see the flyer, so this is the flyer for tonight. That's Dr. V there in the middle. She is Dr. Nooshin Valizadeh. And as it's written up right there, she's social justice educator and artivist. Jay, you've got a chance to meet her now.
I
So
have.
you know a bit of what she's about. She's got a new book coming. She got a book release coming. It's basically a book of poetry, and it's you see the woman X kind of thing there. She's Xing out the man and putting the X in there, and just using her voice, voices that have been othered, essentially trying to create a space for them and doing that through poetry. So that's real cool. She is an award-winning faculty member. I was lucky enough that she had me speak to her class a couple times. Last time I went out there at USC, it was real crazy. We did a poetry event, and that's actually when she was really just starting to really publicly do more of her poetry, which was, you know, a couple years back, really almost 3 years back now. And I was kicking off the place, and she would, you know, occasionally do a piece or whatever. But now that she's really stepped into the light, you know, you see a poet right up there front and central on what she does. But her classes are like, you know, people clamor to get into them. And it's funny, we were very parallel lives, you know. Which why I'm excited to have her up here. I met her at the Red Line in Harvard Square when shout out to my people's Lifted, live group Lifted, who became the live group for Big Daddy Kane. That's how nice they are. And so they were like the house band there. My man DJ Jamiz and I would go in there, check it out. We started promoting the club later. You know, he DJ, I'd promote it, I'd get up on the mic and do my thing, whatever. But Noosh was there, and she was there. Her and a friend of hers, whatever, they'd go and just check out this group. They were like a jazz fusion kind of hip hop thing. That's what Lifted was. And, you know, I could sense the MC in her, and I was talking to her. I was like, yo, why don't you? She was talking to me about how I performed or whatever. And I was like, yo, why don't you get up there? And she's like, funny you say that. I do rhyme. I was like, I can always tell. You know what I mean? They can always,
I know.
You know how that is.
Yeah, I do. Especially with when it's a female, you know.
Yeah,
I met every female I thought rapped that because their vote, you know, the way they sounded. I was right.
Yeah. I was right on her too. And she was like, I haven't done it in a minute. But her boy was rapping or whatever, and turned out she was nicer than him, you know. And but she didn't really get up and do it publicly or whatever. And so she would help me promote some of my shows, and but she sings. And so she was like, nah, but I'll sing. So she ended up singing on a couple of my records. We became real good friends. She went to me to like probably 50 of my events. Really, I can't even imagine how many over the years. And she moved from I was living in Cambridge. She was living in Arlington, right next to each other. And so she was like the road dog. She would always come with me to a show or whatever, if I was promoting something. And, you know, we started doing just lots of shows. And she eventually made the move to Cali. And when she went out there, she broke. I don't want to tell the whole story, but basically she was in a whole different world. She was in like financial services and that kind of stuff. She had an MBA at like 22. You know what I mean? She was just like off the chart smart, you know. And she went to Clark University, and we later went there to do MC battles and stuff. She'd come and watch me or whatever. And so I got to meet like a lot of her people and her fam and all this kind of stuff, and realized that she had the passion really in her to be an activist, an educator, all the stuff I was doing in using art to kind of help me with that. But I hadn't even really blossomed into what I was trying to get towards.
Right.
And she did the same thing. And she went for the same doctorate I did. We have the same almost topic. We're very similar in topic. Just she's out there, I'm here, you know what I mean? And we followed similar Artivist, activist.
Yeah, next time we have that, you know, when she does that workshop, that poetry workshop, we definitely gonna put that on blast, because I enjoyed it. And I feel like artists that are, you know, take their craft serious should experience that, you know, when you go into a poet mind and really just kind of center your focus on that. Fly was with us on that. He wrote like a 28, a 32 or something during that session and spit it. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. So it was really, really cool.
Absolutely.
Being part of that. And yeah, yo, Cruise Control. That's crazy.
Yeah, I see. He just typed that. Yeah, our group name was Cruise Control back before we were XCal. So
that's what I was trying to make my brand with my clothing prior to the whole shift of focus. But I had Cruise Control and Cruise Line.
Yeah.
I kind of do a dual thing with that. That'll be resurrected, of course. It hasn't really. It's just sleeping. It's hibernating. I keep 100 hibernating. You know what I mean? That's 100 things hibernating.
I know you're coming with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yo, I see Fly in the back, man. We gotta bring him up here.
Definitely. Yeah, hit Fly with that.
What up, Fly? He's on. I got him on mute there.
He's on mute. Forever lives Yahweh.
What's up, the people?
What's going on, man?
Man,
chilling, man.
Another day in paradise, you know.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with Dr. V, man? I'm excited to hear about her Artivist.
I'm hoping she doesn't mess up the times too much. You know, she's on West Coast time. You know, so
I know that's what we think.
I gotta be checked. Like I said, I keep saying I gotta check the social media here, but I'm not doing a good job. Let me look. Bang. Nothing yet. You know, she's a celebrity. You know what I mean? So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta,
celeb.
You gotta let the celebs. She's also pregnant, which is you know what I'm saying. So you get a big pass right there on that. And
more power to her.
Working mom.
More power to the women folk, man, who carry babies and work, man. It's
Isn't that incredible? It is,
man. Absolutely.
It'd be me if y'all had to depend on me to populate the earth, man. Y'all be in trouble. We be in sync by 2022, B.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's funny.
Yes, sir.
So Fly, how was your week, brother? How was your week?
Man, it's been extravagant, man. Just mentally, man. Just my focus on just all things positive, man. I'm super optimistic about life, man. So generally, it takes a lot, man, for me to ever feel like I didn't have a good day or a week, man. So
yeah,
and that's intentional, man. Just for me, it just don't take a lot of energy to just try to be happy all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
It don't take a lot. It take way more energy, man, to mope through the day and complain. You know, and then you really get anything done too. So I just keep.
You spent. You know, I spent a lot of time removing anchors from my body and my mind and my soul, man, for years. And as soon as all them anchors are gone, you know, it's incredible. There's no other way to live.
That's it. And then, like when you anchored to your future, it almost creates like this slingshot effect, right? So when you do have setbacks and when you bounce back, it's harder. So that's, I don't know, it's just how I look at it, kind of like my perspective.
I like that. Anyway. You got that Batman thing going right to the goal.
You feel me?
It's holding you up, man.
Nothing wrong with that.
So Fly, we got, you know, Freedom Corner, Free from the Corner. We got that loaded up.
Hey, the album is done, B.
Yeah, man.
It is, bro.
Go on, bless the world.
Yeah, we trying, man. We trying to be like you.
That's the goal. We definitely are.
Trying to be like you, man. We trying to show us.
I got that surefire, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very, very happy with it. I got chills today, and I think for the first time, Pro, I actually listened to it a little bit today.
Yeah,
analyze. You know how it is when you know as an artist. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
the engineering ear too, because you're definitely an engineer, like in your mind too.
Yeah,
and I've listened to these songs hundreds of times, and engineering mind was working and listening the whole time.
Yeah,
and today, because I know it's out of my hands now, and it's like, all right, there's no changing. You're not looking for anything. I was listening, and I got chill when I heard "Dive in It." That's why I was like, "Dang, yo, that thing gave me." I was like, goosebumps. What's up with that? That vibe transition, man.
Dive in, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
That thing bumps right now.
The tracks that Flyers on are like well positioned too. They like come in and they like change the both tracks that he's on sort of change the dynamic as soon as you hear the beat, and then with him on the end, changes it going into the next song. So I just like the way really like the order of everything. And
I'm too excited, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I be going. He prays, right?
Yeah,
definitely, especially right now with them cuts up in there. Shout out Slip Wax. I done fell and hit my face, bro. You slipped all over that wax.
He did. Woo.
Yeah, shout out to Slip Wax.
Man, he leveled that up. And then also shout out Nico LP too, for, you know, kind of drafting the idea. But I believe that was a concept that may have stemmed from the man himself. Pro.
Yeah. I mean, I just, you know, what I do with scratches and stuff. Actually, I told him all the scratches. You know, like he hit me up and he's like, "Well, what ideas did you have for scratches?" He's like, "You know what?
I got exactly what you wanted to do."
I actually only had it on a couple songs, and I was like, you know what? Slip Wax is like an elite DJ, so it's like, you know, let me think of a couple things, and like just sat there for like 20 minutes, and I was just like, what do I hear when I listen to? And it's funny, the scratch on speaking of J. Cole, the scratch on I Wasn't Nothing. I remember J. Cole goes, I wasn't nothing in the Wet Dream song. And I was like, I played it back. I just pulled it up on YouTube and I was like, oh, he does say that. He goes, I wasn't nothing. I wasn't nothing. So that's now what that scratch is. And yeah, it's just like sometimes you just gotta be honest with yourself. You listen to it, you go, what is this? What should this be saying right here? And
what should it be saying?
Yeah, and the Get Down was real obvious to me. It's like, get down. I could just hear it in my head. And we used a bunch of Get Down scratches on my track, Get Lyrical. And what Shame did Shame blessed me in a way that I can't even describe with that record. Like when I made Put 'Em All to Shame, the lead track was Get Lyrical. And I said, you know what I want? I want like a get, you know, like kind of scratch, kind of like the Get Down, right? And so he comes back with the record, and there's 5 different gets, but they're all the most classic gets that have ever been said in hip hop. They're like the epitome scratch, and ones you've even forgotten about. So he changes the scratch. He's going get, go get, and it's a different get, just so subtly, and like only a real head listening to that would know like which each of those gets are. And it's funny because he did the same thing with the beat on that track. So the beat just sounds like the funky drummer, but if you listen to the beat and Get Lyrical, it's the funky drummer blended to all of the classic breakbeat hip hop beats that sound even close to that. He took all of them and melded them. Incredible. So you listen to that, you're just like, so superficially you listen to that joint, you're just like, okay, it's a nice joint. I'm going to run that joint. I'm going to run that joint a little lighter. And shout out to Shame, man. And, you know, I thought about hitting Shame up to do them. To actually do them, but I felt like, you know, it was like I seeing Slipwax all the time. I told Slipwax before, I was like, yo, anytime I'm doing a show, he DJ.
We got a trilogy coming, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Like, there's lots of work out there, lots of work. Yeah. But I'm excited.
Hey, Tree shouting you out.
Yo, what they do?
And shout out,
appreciate the love.
And speaking about things, let's give them just a tiny piece, just a tiny piece of this again. Let's let them know this is coming and tell them when it's dropping and the single and so forth. Here it comes.
Yeah. What up, Vegas?
What up, Boston, Mass?
Yeah. What up, Amsterdam?
Wingland in the DMV.
Yeah. Throwing ties, the final five. Immaculately crafted in these halls, hieroglyphs. Born and translated, the vocabulary's obvious. Throw your arms later when the beats is the catalyst. Mind the word labor, retrace back to Avalis. Got the old hater buying back in my establishment. Lit the torch, May 21st, 2020. Bagging up your purse, cause I hearse with a chariot. No dirt for my Harriet, it hurts so I tally it. Finite things off the cross when I carry it. Primo suits in the booth, then I marry it. Kilos coop for a keynote activist. Trolls in the fees, hide them, you test the accurate. You weak off the words, I take them to inhabitants. The front line with me, red dots on contaminants. Quotables over punchlines, call the ambulance. Atmosphere bright, off the ambulance.
Hands and wrists stay lit with the amethyst. Been dripping the ambiance from the sconces with the candles lit. I can't riffs real quick like a hammer click. My mans and them come dumping a couple cans upon your canvases.
I think that's enough. Little sample. But yeah.
What up, Vegas?
Yeah, what up, Vegas?
What up, Boston? May
21st, 2020, bagging up your purse.
Yeah, so we dropping that check for that video in July. That comes out a couple weeks before the album. So the single comes out and the video comes out. That one's called Final Fire right there, and that's featuring P.S. Perkins. So since Fly is here, and by the way, I think Dr. V's checking in. Since Fly is here, Jay and Fly, you want to tell them a little bit about Freedom Corner brand and Sony Orchard and all that good stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Fly, actually, you begin because that's only proper.
Yeah. So of course, Freedom Corner brand, man. That's my family too, man. JC and LD. Basically got the concept from, of course, one of them could say it way better than I can, even though I heard the story several times. But just from a fundamental perspective, there's a location here in Jackson, Mississippi, about 20 minutes from where I am, on Mega Everest Boulevard and the intersection with Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. And that specific corner is called Freedom Corner. And so the concept kind of came from that, man. And they some solid dudes too, man. And the way they structure their communication with artists is kind of resembles, like giving the artist some freedom. So it's kind of, a blend of things, not just symbolically, but how they structure the way they handle their business too, man. It represents the freedom. And it's kind of different from how we all heard about the terrible tyranny that exists in major labels. Yeah. And so it's a wonderful thing, man. Because I've been rocking with them at least for 1 full year now, man. JC basically, I mean, he's done 100% of my engineering and recording and all that stuff. And so L basically handles anything, you know, marketing, advertising, branding kind of wise. And so it's kind of like you get the best of both worlds with them. I'm really plugging Freedom Corner right now. So I want to let y'all know you get the best of both worlds when you come forward. And then you got a collage of artists, especially on the production side. My boy JB, which I've been knowing for like about 15 years now. The boy is cold. Man. There's nothing that you can dream of instrumentally that he cannot
can't do. Yeah, you can already, I mean, we can already tell, man. It's he's the standout sound on the album. You know, he brings that live feel to every track, you know what I'm saying?
And that's because he can play, I know, at least 3 instruments.
He's an instrumental genius. Yeah, that's it.
Man.
And he can sing.
Yeah.
And can
rap. I didn't know that.
The boy can sing.
The whole deal. Wow.
Man, the boy is like one of the most talented people I know on the planet.
Yeah, and he's mad humble.
Mad humble. It's always been that way. Always been that way, man. So that's my brother. And so man, FCB, man, Freedom Corner brand.
Shout out to LD, man. LD is definitely a quality stand-up dude, man. You can tell the first time you talk to him, and carries through on everything he does and the people he rolls with. So we're privileged and honored to be rolling with y'all too, and looking forward to that dropping. Shout out to you, Fly, and shout out to LD. And big shout out to Sin, man. Sin behind the scenes.
Orchard.
Yeah, shout out to Sin with the whole Sony Orchard thing, and I've listened to him speak. We already told him yesterday we got to have him up on the show soon too. He's a smart dude. So
he is. Every time I get the opportunity to get on the phone with Sin, man, he always dropping a wealth of knowledge, man. That's valuable.
It took me like 4 hours to upload all his forms today, man, to go through that stuff. It was like maybe 5, man. It was like crazy just getting all those details in there. But yo,
shout out to L, man. I never done any of that. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, man. I end up doing all that stuff all the time, man. So it's okay. Yeah. I'm a stickler for spelling. You know what I mean? So it's I
feel you.
Yo,
so I'll cap it with no cap, of course, but
no cap.
You know, so through the journey of time, you put out the energy into the universe so that you get it back once you understand that that's how it works, and that's how I see it. So that's my opinion. May not be a fact, but I believe it is. So, as the puzzle pieces of this jigsaw started to come together, LD came up, and I knew it just off of the strength of the name of the brand. And it was so powerful of a name that I said, if this dude is as powerful as this name, this is the one. And as soon as I found that out on our first conversation, it was actually text. I got the energy, but when I heard it, when we exchanged words and, that connection, I said, dude, I want to sign with y'all. You know what I mean? And in turn, it's created this where when I came in with Pro, I said, Pro, that we got to go through with, Freedom Corner. Like I have to, it's just, I can't tell you why, but it needs to happen. Going through this, it's being the vision of everything is really being seen, and we're seeing why, the quality of these people and the quality of the team. It's brilliant, man. It's a blessing.
It's brilliant, man. The world need to be ready for a takeover, man.
Oh yeah. Grown man takeover. And woman X.
Speaking of which, I think we got someone in the building that we're gonna have to bring in. Oh
snap! Who's knocking? Fly, you get the knock.
Fly, knock on that window right there. See what happens. See, he don't have the knock down. You got to knock harder. You got to knock out. Oh, there she is. Oh,
Dr. V.
Hey.
Dr. V.
What's going on? How are you?
I'm great.
We weren't sure if you were on LA time or what time you'd be stopping through, but you did it, man. You did it. It wasn't.
Yeah, you said 6:25. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you did it. You did it. You know, you like me. You just kind of fly on in when it's time. You know what I mean? That's how I get down. Yeah.
I would have been happy to sit and talk. I could talk and talk.
No, I just wanted to make sure you weren't locked out on the back. Be like, you know how it is. Like once you throw in a show and you're up on the stage and people are knocking at the back door. You know what I mean? It's like same kind of feeling all the time.
Dr. V, thank you so much for joining us tonight in this show, by the way. Just had to reiterate that.
It's an honor. I love you guys, you all. Well, I mean, I think I love Forever Lives Yahweh. I don't know.
She has met him, but she's like, it's all good.
You will.
I love you all.
We do.
I'll grow on you.
Okay.
We do. So
and the love vibes. What's up? What did I miss?
Tonight, not too much. We were just talking about we got our album all complete. So Fly is also part of the Freedom Corner brand and Sony Orchard thing, and he's an artist and he's on our album as well. So it's all fam. So we're just speaking about that. We excited. Our stuff's coming out in July, but it's not about what we have coming out right now. It's about what you have coming out right now. I heard Dr. V has something coming out.
Yeah, in 4 weeks. Yes. In 4 weeks, I have something coming.
Yeah, out. There it is. There it is. Hold on, we got a solo on that. Hold on.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait, that's not what we're talking about? No, that's not what we're talking about. Okay.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the bigger one. I blew up your spot earlier. I kind of gave that away to some of our people earlier, but yeah. Congratulations on
this is the mom's group. Got it. Let me.
Motherhood times 2.
That's right. Hey, it's my mama's birthday. It's my mama's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you. I'll pass it on. She might be watching. I don't know. She's probably having a good time. But hey, you know what, Dr. V? I want to tell you that painting in the back is incredible.
Thank you. I wish I could say I did it, but Brandy Junius did it. So if you want to, is that where we should start? Talk about the painting, talk about
wherever you want to go.
Okay, so my book is coming out like 6 minutes before the baby comes.
What?
So my book's coming out right now, June 2nd. I've never put out a book before, so I'm so new to how things.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
There she is. Sorry about that.
Oh, hi. It's called Women with an X. So women, it's still pronounced like women, but there's an X in there.
I wasn't sure if it was woman X.
Right. So it's women with an X. So there's different people write women with an X for different reasons. And sometimes it could be problematic if they're using it to say, oh, this is inclusive of trans women. It's like, no, trans women are still women. We don't need to kind of put an X for them and everyone else is a woman. So the reason why I use it with an X is actually there's a part in the very beginning in the intro where there's a history and etymology for women. So in Middle English, from Old English, it's wifman was really the original word, which was really wife of a man. So really our identity being about, well, this is, I might as well just not tell the story because I'm not as good as talking as I am about poetry, but women with an X for intersectionality and solidarity with the unknown and the forgotten, stripped of their humanity. Women, because we can be non-binary, varying in ethnicities, races, abilities, and sexualities. Women against the fuckery of a global society that portrays us as nothing when in fact we are everything. Women, because we are more than the wife of a man.
Okay.
I don't have to explain it.
Wow.
Oh, that's better. Do it like that.
Wow.
The poetry is direct and fluid. Just Noosh is just kind of like blah 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 blah. I don't know.
Well, thus the book. I mean, that's what the whole book is, right? So the whole book is poetry, correct?
Yeah, it's like the counter story of poetry. So really sharing the other side of things. So I have 5 chapters. The first chapter is women who talk shit. I know Lyrical knows about that.
You know something about that?
Something about that. My second chapter is, I'm like, let me make sure I get the order right. Doesn't matter. But second chapter is women in exile. So there I kind of talk about, being an Iranian American immigrant in some places, being kind of an outcast, an outsider in different spaces that I've been in. I even address some things that happened as a child with bullying and even suicidal ideation. My third chapter is Women in Pieces. And that's where I really address some like different, sexual assault, survivorhood. And actually it was through survivor work that I got to meet the artist who did the cover of my book and some paintings that go with some of the poetry. So this is a painting that goes with a poem called Decadence. That's okay. So she created some paintings. This painting back here is a 2-part painting for a poem called When the War Has Ended. So it was through, survivorhood that I got to meet this Brandy Junius, an incredible painter who also does poetry. And then my 4th chapter is Women in Motherhood and Quarantine.
Wow.
So really talking about the other side of motherhood and especially being in quarantine, how that feels, kind of addressing postpartum depression, anxiety. And then the final chapter is Women in Solidarity. So really sharing some more of like, kind of joining together with other movements like Hip Hop Ed, Black Lives Matter, just kind of a collaborative piece too in there. So that's why it's called, I call it the counter stories of poetry, because I'm talking about, all these different pieces that people don't really talk about. When we talk about being an immigrant, a lot of times it's these fantastic stories and it's like you see the achievements but not necessarily the pains and the struggles, or being a mother and all these great things and Pinterest you do, but not about the depression that might come along or the isolation of being in quarantine during that time. So that's kind of why, and the Woman Who Talks Shit one is really just, the raw me. Saying fuck the system.
Dr. V, was it COVID that prompted you to do the writing, or was it just something else about the timing? Was it motherhood itself coming on? I mean, I don't know when you started the process, so walk us through like what prompted you to even go this route.
So really, I'm ashamed to say that a lot of COVID actually stunted my creativity. But I did still, push through it. What really happened was I decided to join CLI, which is called Community Literature Initiative. It's a dope kind of program that is basically a 9-month program. So it's like having another baby, where you just go once a week and, workshop poems, learn about the different pieces of poetry. I mean, yes, I have a doctorate, I have an MBA. Like I like to learn, clearly. So I like to be like, what's out there that I don't know? Okay, well, I get opportunities to perform poems and I get opportunities to do spoken word. Like the Amber Rose Slut Walk was a huge moment for me being able to perform in front of 22,000 people. I was like, wow, like I wish I I could actually write poetry without it being like, I'm inspired every 6 months and write something. How do I like make myself like you actually will dedicate time and you carve time out to writing and putting pieces down. And I would just sit there, and a lot of poets are like this. Or artists, we just sit there and wait for this incredible inspiration or for horrible trauma to happen or pain to make us go write, and I just wanted to be like, it's a regular day, I'm going to write.
That's right.
And so I knew I needed some form of structure. So the Community Literature Initiative was a dope little, kind of course that I was able to get engaged in. And then the creator of that course, Hiram Sims, has his own press. It's a small press in LA, but it's a press that a lot of local poets have been able to publish through. So he suggested I, share the compilation of the things I wrote during that course and do a proposal for a book. And they picked it up. They said, yeah. So a lot of the book was actually pretty much done, around the time of when COVID was happening, like maybe like May, June.
Okay.
And then it just takes a while to get things. And when you think you have time, then you kind of just don't do as much. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have to rush into that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
That thought too is crazy with the whole, when you're a poet, you're especially the way that you're describing it, because I understand it, because I have that, I think we all as MCs too, we just have that poet side. But when we have the beat playing, that is the second half of the inspiration. Sometimes it's the primary inspire, it's inspiring us to write. So when you remove that, and now you're forcing knowledge and experience and life and nature to right for you. That's tough, you know, and it takes in there, but that's beautiful. That's like, you know, everything that you're going to put out is going to be pure knowledge, really well thought out, like really coming from a good place, you know. So salute to that.
Hey, that's
really excited to read that.
You mentioned that too, quote, but maybe you can use that too as inspiration, Dr. V. Music.
Oh yeah,
I've written poems to instrumentals too, not always raps, but like he said, instrumentals is an easy motivation for a rapper. You know, if you write and you hear the beat and it automatically inspires something. But before I actually wrote raps, when I was younger, all I did was wrote poems, and I used music then.
Yeah.
To spark a inspiration where, like I said, it didn't necessarily need to be a major event or something happening to inspire me. The music did it, and I just wrote it in a more poetic way as opposed to certain cadences and stuff like you do with rap.
Yeah, from the beginning, I think what inspired my poetry initially was just always listening to Eminem.
And he definitely inspires.
You know, he's a lyricist, and I know people have mixed feelings about Eminem, but for me, he was just kind of like my alter ego. You know, he gets angry and he talks a lot of shit, and then he makes it rhyme. And so I would often, a lot of the poems I've written that rhyme actually go to an Eminem song, but really he also engages in like poetic syllabic method. You know, like I sit back on a pack of zigzags. Like he's able to do that with the right enunciations, which is so much of what you learn about when you start really learning about poetry. It's not, every poem has to have rhythm. They don't all have to rhyme, but if you're going to rhyme, you got to count the beat and you got to count the syllables, just like you need to with rap. And you can't just have a 10-syllable line and then a 4-syllable line unless you're taking pauses to make it work. So that was kind of neat to learn that. And what was cool is a lot of the poems that are in this book, like my best poems, were just from the workshops we did in class. So we would learn something about a certain type of poem, like this is a personification poem, or this is how you use descriptive language. And then workshop for and now I do these. I do my own workshops too with like kids and teens. And then here's like 10 minutes, try your own. Of course, it's not going to be like dope, but you have something to work with. And then you just workshop with that for a week. And so a lot of my poems that are in this book, I started from just being forced and being a little inspired from either a poem or a song or something in the classroom and the education, and then being forced to try it, which a lot of times you're naturally hesitant, like I'm not in the mood to do this. And it might take more than half the time before I start writing something, but then I have something and then I just tighten it and work on it, add to it. And then having a community who can read it and be like,
that's where it is.
Add more detail here, add more here. This part sounds off. This is a great first line, and learning that and trying to create that. Like my basic.
Your workshop was like a tall glass of ice cold water on a humid 95-degree day.
I was like, yeah, you guys came to my workshop. What am I talking about? You're already there,
Yeah, that I was telling before you were in the green room. I said, hey, next time you get one, we're gonna be pushing it out, getting people to really pay attention because. I feel like the more artists that get in there, and use that focal point to go to poetry and step away from your rhymes, because I did it. I was like, yo, this is really, of course, the built-in mechanism that you were speaking of, really, a beat don't matter because your rhythm of word choice and rhyme words is what's creating that flow, Right. It felt free. It was freeing for me, So, yeah, great job running that.
We should throw one together, do like a hip hop poetry, event workshop.
Yeah.
Right? People always ask, they suddenly are like, tell me about what you think about the 1993, the blah, 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 hip hop. I'm like, okay, I said I was like into hip hop. Inspired me. I'm not a hip hop.
That happens to us too. I mean, sometimes we'll go do an event or whatever, and people try to turn it into a hip hop history fest a lot, and it's like, we're also MCs, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have every single date down for life or whatever. But I think a lot of those are cool because people that are there, they're in the right vibe and the right mindset. And those workshops that you speak of, I think they really go to prove the point that you were making earlier about you don't just need a time to be inspired. It doesn't just strike you on the head like, Newton with the apple under the tree. I mean, all that's romanticized BS. It doesn't work like that. Like the whole
analogy.
It's like
You're such a geek. I love it.
I know, but I can't help it.
Did you spit that rhyme? Like, no, I was going to drop the mic.
Yeah, no one will catch it, man. No one will catch it. But well, that's on gravity. But yeah, like the point being is like I heard somebody talk.
Catch it on gravity.
It was you'll catch it on gravity. Yes. I say pros constant among the masses. Pros that G like gravity, and the formula for gravity as the gravitational constant is a G with two M's, M sub 1, M sub 2, and constant among the masses. Pros that, yeah. Anyways. So that's not the point.
The man's a wizard.
The
facts.
That's taught my physics people. But no. Where I was going with this is I heard a researcher once talking about like the romanticized idea that it just hits us in a dream. I mean, once in a blue that does happen. I'll be in a dream, I'll be freestyling, and then I'll happen to remember the rhyme I said, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I gotta remember that was amazing. But most of it is discipline. It's not sexy. It's like today I'm sitting down at 2:00 for 15 minutes and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think about this rhyme. It was like Fee, right? Fee hit me earlier today. I got done doing all this label stuff or whatever. And I had 5 minutes and I was like, let me get 8 bars roughly down. I sent it to him. I said, yo, here you go. This isn't going to be the final thing. These are just my thoughts. And when I get another 20, we'll come back to it. And once you get trained into the process, it takes away the romanticism and the fluffery that we think you have to be on an island sipping a pina colada or whatever. You don't. That helps. But I'm saying poetry hits you when it hits you, but it can also hit you when it's planned and disciplined. And you say, here's my 15 minutes of poetry time. And don't feel forced that you got to finish it right there is the key. That's just the start. Like you said, get that first line down. Do you like that first line? No. Workshop with yourself when there's no one else there. And then feel free to ask somebody else later too, because you're not on an island, pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel like this pressure, like when you sit down and write, you have to write a poem.
Right.
And that's, just an unnecessary pressure. So one thing that I was really learning in that class that I try and pass on is if you can carve an hour of your time a day and try and make it at the same time so it becomes a habit. It takes 63 days to develop a habit, right? So make it, and it worked for me. I carved out a certain time. What is that window of time that I know I'm not going to be bothered? It's not going to be a struggle to wake up. Like, this is the time, and it happens to be at nighttime when everyone was asleep. It's like, that's my hour. And in that hour, either read as much as you can and write as much as you can in that hour, or at the very minimum, read a page, write a page. So read a page of poetry, write a page of poetry. That is a really easy, or, write a page of whatever, but that was a really doable thing. Everybody can read a page a day of a poetry book, and you'll see that you're reading more. And anybody can write, whether it's just purge writing or you're just writing like, kind of on what you read, or just putting things together and just saying that's all I have to do is just fill up this page with writing and then go back. You got, at least 20% of that is going to be great. And then you look back and say, okay, every poem needs some sort of rhythm. Every poem needs a dope title. Because if someone just sees your title and it's like, the day that I was 7, you're just like, okay, everyone needs that dope title that's going to grab you, and that dope for opening line. So, and then cut out any line that isn't great,
Trim that fat.
Trim the fat. All the filler lines, it's okay. Remove them. Doesn't mean your poem sucked. It just means you're tightening it.
Fine tune. Go from child to student to sensei to Jedi.
Hey! Exactly.
Mixed metaphors, but I like it.
Well, because this is why. Because in my mind, right? The sensei, he's doing his martial arts, right? And that's in this world type of now Jedi is that next level after the sensei.
Yes, sir. I see what you did there.
You see?
I see what you did there.
And accumulation factor in life is the biggest thing there is, right? When you accumulate whatever it may be. So the time spent doing productive things like that towards goals and then learning as you go, like what you said about the title, knowing that going into the start of something, right? Versus 10 years deep being like, yo, the title, right? And having the aha moment, then collapse the time frame, learn from others. That's why it's important to read books, listen to people that are above you on an educational standpoint or accumulation factor standpoint, like they put more time in than you. Respect that. You know what I mean? And that's beautiful. So people that are poets, listen, Dr. V knows.
Yes,
I got a question for you too, Dr. V. Actually, a couple questions in regards to what you were just saying. First question would be, what do you say to the poet that doesn't have that consistent time frame and only have the opportunity to write spontaneously, so that they won't feel discouraged by not being able to dedicate an hour or 30 minutes every day?
Yeah, I would say first really assess that. Like, do you really not have 1 hour a day? Like, do you really not have 1 hour a day? Or are you just not carving the time out? What else are we doing that makes it so you don't have an hour? If you don't have an hour for you, then we got to reassess what's going on with life, right? So I do think that having the same time every day can be challenging, but I would really say, like, you got to carve the time out, which might mean with anything. It doesn't mean just incorporate this into everything else. It might mean something else needs to get cut or take a back seat for a little while you cheat on the rest of your life and have an affair with your art form. You know, have an affair with have a loving relationship with your craft, and you cheat on the rest of life for a little bit to do that. But I would say, again, that's why the one page, the read a page, write a page is good. You know, it doesn't take an hour to read a page and write a page. It could take like 20 minutes. So that's why I say you can also do that. And do it, a window, give yourself a window. Like, I'm going to do this in the morning, before lunch, or like, between lunch and dinner, I'm going to make sure I make that happen. And recognize that part of the process is going to be a resistance. It's going to be, I don't want to do this. I hate this. I want to quit this. This is whack. Let me escape from it. That's part of the process. So just know that feeling, that discomfort, that wanting to get away is going to happen, and just try and push through. If you couldn't push through it that day and you go to bed, wake up and try again.
I've never felt that. I've never had that feeling. I've never had for me, the only difference is that, like, I'm constantly trying to arrange my day so that I can find that time. And but I always find it, like you said, and
always.
J. Cole, we were talking about this earlier with some mixed reviews about his new project, at the off season. He does talk about it in the documentary. He talks about, he was like, I put in this time to be in the gym, kind of, try to get my hoop game going, or, but I really was lazy with that. I really wasn't putting in the work I need to. And he's like, I'm thinking that I'm doing work. I'm just dribbling around. And meanwhile, these dudes are in the gym with like trainers, and they're putting up 1,000 shots. And he's like, I'm over here thinking I'm working. And he's like, so with the MCing, he's like, I realized, and he said something which really did grab me, because it's something I've lived by. He said, I wake up every morning, and he's like, I cannot go into the city. He was living in Queens. He's like, I will not go into the city until I write my rhyme. And so I used to do the same thing. But I tell people in workshops too, for some people it's an hour. I would actually say shorter amounts of time, just so you don't develop that hate in your head for it. So one of the ways that I've never hated it is I would do very short amounts of time. And consequently, I've been able to write in very short amount of time now as a result of that training. So it's like, I'll give myself 15 minutes in the morning to get the motor started, to get that up and running. And that's it. And so that I don't go, I'm dreading this day. I have to find 2 hours to write. Like you said, feel all that burden and pressure. I really don't feel the pressure. I just got it started. Now all day I'm walking around with a primed pump, looking for, if it's comedy, you're looking for the funny. If it's hip hop, you're looking for the rhyme. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the punchline, or I'm looking for the social justice piece that I want to bring into my rhyme, but how I'm going to say it cleverly. You know what I mean? And so that's keeping it short.
What's a great, I think, bridge too. If I have it here and I can pull it out.
Just happen to have it on this shelf.
I'm like, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar, but it's Tupac's Rose That Grew From Concrete.
Oh yeah.
This is one of like the first ones that helped me, because it's just one page. A lot of the poems are just one page, so it's like, okay.
I love how I don't have it in his handwriting too. That's so cool. I referenced that book like, that came out in what year?
I don't know.
I don't think Dr. Noosh realized it, but she just did the official sponsor. It's Tupac. Rose Grows From Concrete.
I definitely.
1999. Wait,
99.
Yeah, and the copyright was by Layla Steinberg, who actually reviewed my book.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible.
And then also Nikki Giovanni, who does not know who I am. So that would be amazing if she did.
What was she thinking? What was she thinking?
But like these poems aren't even that. They're not all incredible, but they're raw. And they still have some good rhythm to them. So it's nice to be like, okay, I'm trying to get into poetry from hip hop and see how similar it is. But again, you just, you know, you can read a page and then you can try it yourself.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes. That's how I started, because I was like, I don't have time to carve an hour.
Right. Do less. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Now I'm like, how am I going to make up for the 3 hours?
One thing I'd say too is that from observation, that the two biggest investments people have nowadays that are deterring them from their dreams and aspirations is television and video games. So, bro,
huge distractions.
Cut 30 minutes out. You know what I'm saying? Cut an hour out of your TV/video game time. Like, if you're serious. Otherwise, because that's where it is. When people, I don't have the energy, so I'm gonna sit on the couch. Whatever, that's the excuse, and that can't be used.
I would say internet is probably the biggest. The internet is probably the bigger distraction.
The social media, I mean,
well,
I guess
add that into the mix, right?
It's all the same, yeah.
I'm so horrified when the notification is like, you've had blah 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 average screen time this week. I'm like, oh yeah, I was working on my phone the whole time. No, I wasn't. Like, how much of that time were you on? And that drains you. What people don't realize is that you're not really chilling, watching TV, playing video games on your phone. You're not really chilling. You're escaping and you're overstimulating your brain. So you actually really don't. You're not like chilling and zoning out and then now have all this energy. You're actually overworking yourself, doing something that isn't, that's why you really shouldn't do it before bed, because you're just going to have crappy sleep. You might have just laid out for 10 hours, but you had shitty sleep because your brain is still thinking that, the sun is making it wake up. It's the blue light on your television. You know what I'm saying? So
I love night mode and silent mode on my phone. It goes night silent. I do that every day, twice, 2-3 times a day. Yep. You have to. I'm chilling with my daughter, because that's the thing, right? If you don't, that's what my mind's going on. It's like, oh, what I got to do was I'm always in that. So I have to get it on charge, away from my reach, my sight, silent, and that's how I conquered that. Because it's a drug, the technology.
And then it passes on,
especially as a businessman too.
Yeah, the kids see it. Yeah.
My second question, Doc. My second question was kind of like piggyback off what a little bit off what Pro was saying about that early morning stuff. Before I get into that question, that's special, man, because that helps me a lot. I always start my day that way, but I don't do it at home. I get in my car before work, and I go somewhere where nobody can disturb me. And I devote like a good 45 minutes to an hour where I'm not at work or I'm not at home. And so my two biggest places of areas of responsibility. And so I find a place in between those two places, which often happens to be like the parking garage at work. And so nobody recognizes me. I rarely get phone calls or text messages within that time frame, just because of what time of day it is. The reason why I selected that time. And throughout the day, because of that 15-minute motor start that Pro mentioned, I can write throughout the day because of that.
Yeah, that's it.
Really? That's
like and intervals. So I'll get an idea, a spark. I may not get anything down that little time frame, because I may end up doing some devotion or reading my scriptures or something like that. But because I got that motor started early in the morning, some might come to me 2 hours later from that motor start.
That's a brilliant point.
I can jot it down, or like you said, I might stumble across something that may re-inspire that early motor start that I got that day. Which brings me to my other question. What do you say also to people who, and I know we've all experienced it, we've probably got more material written that people have never heard than we've put out. So how do you convince a person that that's not necessarily like a curse or the thing that dooms you because you have material that you never complete?
Well, first I have a question for you. When you write in those mornings, are you writing in your phone or are you writing it by hand? You take a journal with you, or you're like putting your thoughts in it?
I do both. I do both.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love that. I never thought of that, but it's so true. Like if you start it off in the morning, then you kind of like anything, right? People are always like, oh, when you work out, you should do it first thing. And I'm like, ew, I'm too tired first thing. But then they're like, no, you're energized for the whole day. So one day I'll see if that's true. But what I would say about, oh my gosh, look, it's part of the process. You know, you can have tons of material. And I look at it as like, go revisit what's of quality. Go look at it with a fresh set of eyes. Don't look at the whole thing and be like, that was trash. You know, look at it and see, are there some pieces? So some poems that are actually in my book are pieces of unfinished poems that I put together.
Yeah.
You know,
that's cool.
I do
That's
that
one way of using it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that point up.
I did that same thing. I mean, think about, it's funny you bring that up because with the Vault that I was doing last year, started at this time, I think I put the first record out. I have like 300 records in my iTunes that I just was sitting on. Pretty much mix them, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna do a song a day for the rest of the year. Just put a song out. Because I threw the finger up and I was like, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing it. I'm dropping. You know what I mean? That whole
lost tapes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's every piece of art at that time when I was creating it, I was vibing with it. I felt it. And the next day I might have been like, you know what I mean? But that's not for me to decide. Why would I hold that hostage to someone that is like, Cruz, I love your music. Where's it at? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so also, like, how do you know that your piece is trash? Like, honestly, when I got asked to do the Slut Walk piece, I was working late at night. I was like trying to put it together, and then I crumbled it. I was like, this is trash. And then my husband came in, and he's like, what do you have? I was like, nothing, leave me alone. Like, it's terrible. And so he picked up the crumbled paper out of the trash. He's like, can I just look? Can I just see? I'm like, okay. And he was like, this is really good. And I'm like, you don't know poetry. You're not a poet. You're an artist. But then he was like, this is go. Like, work with this. This is great. And I did. And I worked with it. Another poem that I wasn't planning to put in my book. And I went to an event and they were like, oh, you know, we can workshop some things. And I was like, oh, shoot, I don't have anything to workshop. So I just pulled out this old poem that I was not going to plan to put in my book that I thought it was kind of trash. It was kind of just like rambling. I read that and folks, they really helped me clean it up and were like, okay, like, this is a dope line. This is a dope line. This gave me a great image. I'd love to know what this is. And having that, now it's in my book. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who are you to say your piece is unfinished and trash? Like, you can actually share that. And that's why having a community like support system and having that type of thing is really helpful. And just be like, hey, do you mind looking at this? I'm going to read it to you. And then you read it, tell me what's missing, tell me what I should change, tell me what parts. And some people might, you know, sometimes I've been like, look, you need to remove the whole first 8 lines and the rest is dope. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I can work with that. And you don't have to have a long piece. You can have a poem that's, you know, a haiku. I mean, and you're done, you know, with that too. So it's like,
I'm feeling like we need a Dr. V piece right about now. Do we have a little sample we can get here for the painting?
Yeah, I could do a piece with this painting. I could do my series a little bit. I have a three series thing called Traumaversary, and it's from Women in Exile. Oh no, it's from Women in Pieces. I don't know my book yet. Look,
Dr. V, I'm right with you. I don't know if you can see, but look, I got mine right here, and I have to reference every page, and then I have no idea what page things are on. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, where is this? Okay, so I'll do the 3. They're all kind of short, and they go together. So the first poem goes with this cover painting, actually. So you notice, so actually the original painting is with the publishers because they wanted to get before the book release, they want a better photo of it because I mean this is just from my iPhone, but the way the painting is dope. There's little pieces of cardstock of the different colors, so it's very textured painting, and you can see like pieces of her face that are like leaving, right? So this poem I used iambic tetrameter. That's the way the syllables. It's like the emphasis of the syllables on every like 4 or 5, I think. Okay. Traumaversary. All the same shit, but a different year. Triggering memories now reappear. He just gets bigger and I disappear. Will there be justice? It's all still unclear. I take a benzo and chase it with beer. Soul leaves my body, a safe hemisphere. Family worried, they call me in fear. Silence the phone because there's nobody here. Nobody here, no, nobody here. Leave me alone, there's no body here. Sleep till it ends, the night's almost near. He just gets bigger. And he just gets bigger every year. I disappear. I disappear. And the way I wrote disappear, I don't know if you can tell, but the way I wrote it, it kind of, the words kind of start disappearing too.
Dope.
So yeah, that rhymes, and it's actually, you know, a lot about, I created the word traumaversary to kind of, sometimes folks, it's just to give a name to when you feel a trauma, like the anniversary of a trauma. So for this case, it's actually of like an assault that happened to me. For some people, it's like domestic violence. For some people, it's like a death or a killing or something. But it's how, you know, that you feel haunted by the event during that time, around that date, around that season, whatever it is, you kind of start feeling like this haunting effect, and you start feeling small. So that's kind of what mine was. And so many people have like shared like, wow, you really named it. That's how I feel every, you know, June, blah, 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 because this happened around then. And I start feeling like going through it. So naming it was cool. Then the poem after that that goes with this painting was called Decadence. The darkest nights can be decadent. Black balloons, calla lilies, and orchids. Chairs painted with shoe polish. Licorice lollipops, and a black velvet cake sitting on linens of leather with a candle lit just enough to catch the swans swimming under the starless sky. Kind of about embracing the pain. That's called Decadence, which goes with this, you see. And that kind of feeds into When the War Has Ended, which is the beach painting. Peace is not happiness. It is when a war has ended. I refuse to be numb. I now know there is a tomorrow. And like a fairy tale, the sun will spin my pail to gold, place her warm hands on my face, kiss my cheeks for blush, and lift my lips up into a smile. I can find love etched into a sidewalk. I can let the beach sand massage my toes, drape my mother's silks over me as a gown, and become drunk from the smell of jasmine petals placed around my curls for a crown. But tonight, tears are free to stream and become one with the sea. Embracing my wounds reminds me I am real. I can honor the pain that has made me me with a celebration of acceptance and tranquility. Happy traumaversary to me. How old is the new me now?
Dope.
So yeah, thank
really,
you.
Really dope.
Thanks. Yeah, and that one's more about just like accepting, you know, the pain, and a lot of folks when they go through trauma, they're just trying to escape, or they just want to like, you know, rush it under the rug, and they think they're supposed to be happy all the time, or they're supposed to just not feel anything. And when you actually are like, okay, I'm allowed to have a day where I feel bad and know that I'm going to be okay tomorrow and I'm going to have that support, but it's okay to have a day to grieve, you know, it's that same day every year. And once I start establishing this, what's interesting is that now I don't have that haunting feeling. Like I've given myself, okay, this is the time that I usually get upset. Let me accept it. Let me embrace it. Let me have some chocolate cake in the dark. And like, as soon as I started accepting it, it was almost like I became desensitized. It was weird. Like, I know I have that time to grieve over things, and I just feel like I've already kind of overcome it in a way. Just from writing about it, from accepting that I'm allowed to have the feelings, it made it less, you know, difficult to.
So I have to ask you a question that I get all the time, because it's amazing to be a spectator to this. So I'm going to ask you the same question I get all the time, because I know you have to deal with it. So how does this mesh in with what you do in the classroom?
Well, it's actually been dope, because a lot of times I create a framework. So when I teach like social justice courses, whether it's history of race and labor in the United States, or sociology of education, or the, you know, whatever it is, social justice equity, everybody knows who I am. They know what I do. They know I'm an activist and a poet. And they can also Google me and find out or see things. So a lot of times students are already kind of, aware or interested in some way, shape, or form. But a lot of times I give an extra credit assignment. There's a couple different ones that I do. One is like, I'll have a course Instagram, and students can either create something or use something like lyrics from a song or a rap or a hip hop artist story, whatever. An artist, and use that to express kind of what's going on. So it's kind of easy. I teach social justice. Yeah. So many of the street art you see and the poems that you see, Kendrick Lamar's lyrics, like so much of that stuff is kind of social justice oriented. So you can find ways to incorporate that into the work. And like, also I'll let students kind of post something about that on our course Instagram. But I also, at the end of this, every semester, I've been doing this for many, many years. At the end of the semester, I always do like an open mic, and students can, share and present anything in a way that relates to what we've studied. So I've had I've taught on student athletes and how they're kind of not taken care of by their universities, et cetera, the inequities there. Huh?
Facts.
And then had, student athletes like share their experience in a poem. Had, students who have gone through, like had parents who were undocumented, like paint something. Had students who were in the AAPI community share the model minority myth, maybe share a poem about that somebody else had written, to help express a piece. So that's been kind of cool. I don't know how I would do it if I was teaching. How you do it, teaching math, that's a lot of the hip hop ed stuff. I think that since now I'm running my business and I have a lot of clients that are like organizations and kind of the deans and faculty and people, I do get a little uncomfortable and awkward. Like, okay, they want me to teach them. But if they Google me, they're going to see like, what? She does hip hop, she does poetry. So I get a little weird, and I feel like it's kind of like a different world that I'm not comfortable with them knowing. But a lot of times they serve a community, or they want, that kind of piece too. So they'll say, oh yeah, we would love for you to, do a workshop about poetry to our local students or to the families or the communities and things. Yeah, right. So I just try to make the umbrella of what I do be social justice, and the pieces that come down are either, whether it's education, whether it's artivism, is all kind of still related. But I'd love to know how you do it, How do you kind of...
Well, similarly, I always do feel jealous for people that get to teach a class that is in sort of that realm. It's not as hard of a needle to thread, right? Like you said, when it's sort of a social justice kind of class or any kind of thing that's rooted in activism, there's a natural connection. But I just try to seek out those kind of tidbits that can be brought into the class. But, I'm always saying too, like my class is not, it's not like hip hop the way that you would think. It's like I let my students bring the hip hop into the class. It's just like I just welcome it in, and they know within the first minute that they're like, okay, there's something different going on here. Or my students do the same thing. They Google me. They before they have the class, they send it. It's weird. They're like, I've checked you out on SoundCloud. Can't wait for class. That kind of stuff. I'm sure there's people watching right now, or will after. It's the same kind of thing, but. I don't try to make it like you spoke about something that's real important. And this is the thing, like the more we get experience in our job and the more comfortable we get, there's a parallelism you can say to almost coming out of the closet for like somebody who's been like homosexual their whole life. Right. And who's been like in the closet. And it feels similarly with what you're explaining. I assume that, we have this like, oh, I do hip hop kind of thing, but I can't be that in front of the dean, or I can't be that in front of the boss because somehow it's other than, right? It's less than, it's not academic. And you get to a point where I think we all do, where you just eventually feel a little bit more secure where you're at, and then a little bit fed up at the same time. And you just let people know. And when you do, it's so liberating. And you're like, look, I know you've Googled me. I know let's not play the little eggshell game. At some point, you crack a joke at an office meeting or something, or somebody comes in and they break the ice and they go, hey, we got the rap guy here. And where I used to take offense to that, now I'm like, yeah, that's right. And pay me. You know what I mean? It's like when are you booking me to write a rhyme for blah, blah, blah. Like now it's very... It's very in your front face, like, yeah, and remember me when you need the host for the school, you know, blah, 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 or you need the rap for X, Y, and Z, or, you know, and when the newspaper comes here and when the television crews are coming, whatever, you know, remember me then too. So it's not all ha ha. And once that happens for you, the floodlights go on, and then everybody can kind of welcome you into it. But it's like what Jay was saying, if you're too shy with it and you holding back on it and you don't let people know, then people can't embrace it. They don't know what to do because you're the one making it funny. Because, you know, that's what I had to learn. I was the one adding all that pressure on and trying to be too academic all the time. It's the chip on the shoulder that we have, you know what I mean? And it's like, at some point you got to be like, this is who I am. I'm out the closet. You know what I'm saying? I'm Professor Lyrical. You know what I'm saying? I rap. I'm lyrical. I'm an MC, and my side hustle is an associate professor. That's how I bring
yeah,
I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's imposter syndrome too, that like comes and gets triggered. You know, I know like where you grew up, and you know, you know, quick mathematician. How many years have we known each other? I'd
say we probably met in 2001, so like 20. I'd say
2002,
2003,
2004.
But yeah, okay. See, I was giving you more credit. Yeah, I was giving you more credit. I'll go with 17. But I was thinking it was 3. But yeah, you're probably right. It probably was 4.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was 2003. Did I already have my master? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I was saying that before you came out. You were like 22, right?
Yeah.
so like I remember that line.
22. Yeah.
No, we were talking about you before you came out. We were talking about
Tree, it's all good, Tree. Keep commenting. We like it. Appreciate the support.
But wait, are you seeing comments? That's cool.
Oh yeah, they go in different places. So you should be able to see them, but it's kind of scattered.
We're getting a sound alert saying that it seems like your sound alerts browser source is offline. Make sure you implement the source.
What happens is like tomorrow it'll like double the views of whatever it has right now too. So
that's cool. Yeah, I can see it. But like what I was saying was, you know, especially growing up in Boston, I know where y'all grew up, but growing up in Boston, like I know, you know, I can just imagine why Lyrical would have some imposter syndrome with being a math professor and a hip hop artist and stuff. And for me, it was definitely like, you know, Boston's a very white dominating kind of community and city, and being
you think?
Just a bit, you know. And so for me, being a woman of color, being Middle Eastern, having a lot of xenophobia, and like, you know, experiencing a lot of different things like that, which is all in my Women in Exile chapter. But, you know, I carried that with me. And I think on top of that, even being in LA where there's way more Persians and way more ethnic things, when you're in academia, you know, I look young, I don't dress like terribly. And so, you know, you get kind of hate, and you get a little bit, to be honest, like, I don't feel super supported by, you know, any of the universities that I've taught in that much, to that extent, where folks are really like, yes, we're going to uplift this person. And it's more like, oh, students love her. Oh, she gets awards because students really like her. Students think she's cool. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I have like the cool factor. Like, you're forgetting that I'm also an expert in the work that I do and the things that I teach. It's like they can't box us, and they can't handle the fact that they can't put us in a box. I try to say it all the time.
Academia is all about boxes.
They're all about, and academia is all about boxes. Like, what box are you fitting in? Okay, so then,
and if they can't, they don't want you. They actually don't want you. If they cannot fit you into the box, it's hard to get hired. You know what I'm saying?
It is. You can't. They'll start thinking you're a jack of trades. You don't know what you're doing. I'm like, no, I'm a Renaissance woman. Like, you know, I'm Persian. Like, the best scientists were also philosophers and artists. Like, you know, that's how it rolled. And I'm a Capricorn. Just like you know, this is what we do. We're multifaceted. They can't accept it. And I'm always like, look, I can see you want to put me in a box, but you won't put me in a box till I'm 6 feet deep. Like, that's the box I go in, and that's the only box I'll be in.
well, I mean, for people that aren't in academia that are like saying like, okay, maybe I can kind of relate, or maybe you can't. It's like, imagine this, right? Imagine a culture where you have to have the degree that's required at all times to even step into that classroom. And if you got the wrong dean or the wrong division director or whatever, they will never give you the opportunity to teach what you like. It's just what you actually have on a piece of paper. So for instance, for Dr. Noosh, even talking about, you know, I forget the names of the courses you said exactly. You could probably say them all off quicker than I did, but those weren't necessarily in your degree lane, right? They're close and connected. You get the wrong department head, or they're never going to let you teach that course. They're going to give it to someone else who has the piece of paper that says that they have that. But like, it's like for me, right? Like I've taught economics. Now I got a bachelor's in economics and marketing, but I don't have a master's or a doctorate in it. And for years I had to deal with that strife. And I'm like, do you understand it was economics that made me want to do math in the first place? Like, I'm passionate about that, right? I was like, let me, you're going to go hire an adjunct to teach it. Why not hire me to teach? You know, and so you get these boxes like, no, you can't teach economics. You're a math guy. Dude, it's like the same exact thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
So that's the world of academia, you know, and that's just a very small piece of it. Yeah.
Wackadavia.
Oh, hashtag
no shade.
No, we know.
Don't even get me started. My students have always had, you know, the best support, and that's who I do the work for. And, you know, for that reason, and because I am very fuck the system, I will probably never in my life have a tenure track faculty position, and maybe even ever have a full-time position as a faculty, because unless it's at a you know, university or college that really
values
is
that
in line with me, and which doesn't exist, I don't think. So
yet,
you know, why would I change when they suck?
Yeah, man. I know exactly of what you speak. But I'll tell you this. But I'll tell you this. Dr. V can be getting that bag though when it doesn't have to be in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to tell our peers who are into the art and the activism. And even how we started the show, we're talking a little bit about J. Cole, how he's kind of abandoned some of that, maybe for sales numbers. You know, he's kind of stepped away from a little bit of the activism that it seemed like he was heading towards in his last album. I'm going to give it a second listen, but it's like, for the most part, you know, there's I say it all the time, there is money to be made if you have something relevant to say in your art. If you are an artivist or a raptivist or what have you, you can blend those things together, thread that needle. That is in demand out there, and that is faculty development, which is what I do. You know what I mean? That's what you do. You do the same thing. You do faculty development essentially.
Yeah.
And it is ironic that you're doing faculty development and institutions, as you say, aren't hiring you full time. They're hiring you part time. It's like I can come and teach at a university. They can bring me in and pay me more than you will. To come in and talk. You know, but y'all are gonna give me that, you know, part time status. Because I've had
hour-long workshops that I've gotten paid like $2,000-$3,000 from a university, but then when I taught it for a semester, it would be like
it's like 2,700. Yeah.
Exactly. For the whole semester, and or like even, you know, at the university, I would be asked to teach 5 classes at a time, which is obscene. Grad classes, master's and doctorate classes. Oh, you're the only one who has the skills to be able to teach this. Oh, this is like, can you teach this? And then when the position would finally show up,
never.
It's not for me, you know. And I'm like,
and they'll string you along, be like, "Yo, when a position opens, it's like you ain't coming to hire me." And all the places I worked at adjunct, none of those places. Well, down the line, like 2, but I worked at like 10 places adjunct. They wouldn't even think of hiring me full time. It wasn't even a possibility. They would get the same thing: wonderful reviews, newspaper articles, blah 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 blah. They don't care. They're like, "Nah, we gotta." It's almost like it's in the blueprint. Like, nope, we got a tenure track position.
That's not gonna look good.
We're going somewhere. Yeah, that doesn't look good.
Why would we bring on the person who's student centered and really kills themselves for cheap?
Right.
You know, why would we pay them salary and benefits? Like, why would that's so dumb. That's not a good business move. We can get someone from the outside who's published things and pay them, you know, $200,000.
Yeah.
They don't like the fact that when Doctor and Beast come together, Mark Ruffalo, bro.
Oh, I hear where you went with that. I hear you. He's quoting lyrics.
Quoting lyrics. They don't like that. They don't like when you turn green, bro, and say, "Look at him." Yeah, start to show.
You know that I was referring to you as the Beast, though. A doctor and a beast come together, Mark Ruffalo. I was talking about you. You got to listen to that track. I wasn't talking about me. I was talking about you're the beast. I'm the doctor. Come together, Mark Ruffalo.
Always lifting me up.
For my non-superhero fans out there, Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. When a doctor, and he's stuck now in that realm, which he likes to be. He's the doctor and the beast. The Hulk is intelligent now. He's stuck in that world. All right. Anyways, we doing that nerd hip hop thing. Yes. Dr. V, I got to ask you this too. What about writing now? Are you on like a little mental hiatus now that you've completed this? Is like having a baby, right? Is like, are you taking a little pause from the crazy writing world, or how's that?
Well, unfortunately, I'm in like the book editing world now, of like editing my poems a bit, trying to decide, you know, shoot, am I going to keep these poems or not? You know, there's so that's happening right now. So I've
This book?
That's
26.
Yeah, that's the book. No, it's not anymore. It's June 2nd now.
Oh, don't look at that.
Oh,
There's a new date.
change the date.
Mental edit.
Yeah, I have a new flyer that I'm gonna post on it. But
well, then we can promote it again before our show goes again.
Yeah, June 2nd. So
there you go.
Which is the same date that you have something coming out, right?
July 2nd. Oh, July 2nd.
Oh, July 2nd. Okay, yeah, mine's
Final Fire, the video and the single. I was trying to do my announcer voice.
So I feel like, that's kind of where I'm at. And also just honestly, I'm in the hustle of my business right now, trying to get like my clients to really be in a good place with this equity and diversity inclusion work. It's still activist work. It's still very much important. I have some great clients and great organizations who are really wanting to get these like trainings done, really understand. They have great power in their work, but they need to have a foundation of the common language of what social justice equity really means, what it means to create these spaces. So a lot of my mental capacity, being pregnant and doing literally 4 weeks from today, is kind of like where I haven't been able to give much to the creative side other than being able to perform and doing things like this, which I think is okay too. You got to be doing something. It's hard to be writing and reading every day and doing performing and your work. Like sometimes I was told that this will happen. Like once you're done with your book, you're going to kind of be in editing and like performance or event mode and like trying to push your book, and you might lose some of the creative pieces. Just don't let it go too long. So, but I would love to do a workshop and like, I do need some hand holding. I'm not as disciplined. I'm nothing like you, Lyrical.
I know how you are. I know how you are, but you don't give yourself enough credit though. But I know how you are. You
know what too, Dr. V, just to say one thing off of what you was riding with. I think it was Stephen King. I heard he wrote like, ridiculous amounts every day and forced himself. And I kind of, when I heard that, I said, oh, okay, so that means I got to write my rhymes like that. And I was I don't even think I was a teenager at that point when I heard that. So I kind of, that stuck in my head and it still does. But then I learned after decades that lull is all good, because every time I'm through hibernating, I'm still accumulating information. But once that hibernation period's over, I'm always a step up.
That's right.
It's when I was stressing about the fact that I couldn't write, and I'd force myself, and I would just get angry every time. My anger level would go up because I'm like, I'd be just getting frustrated. Versus live, just don't. You know what I mean? If it's not there, it's not there. Get over it. You know what I mean? And since I've done that, it's been steps every time I come out of hibernation. Is what I call it.
You know what I do? I answer friend requests.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll start be like, hey, look, social media. Like, oh, wow, maybe I should be paying attention to this. You know what I'm saying? Be
so genuine to the name, Lyrical.
Yeah, right.
This dude.
Do you even remember, talking about like whipping things up, something that Lyrical and I really had in common was the fact that we would just like do things last minute.
Yeah.
And kind of how we got connected was like, I think the first night we hung out, you played a beat and you were like, what would you sing to this? Because I was singing at the time.
Yeah. I was saying a little bit about that before you came up, but I didn't get into this detail, so I'm anxious.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like I have this beat. What do you think about it? And I was like, okay. And I started singing something. He's like, that's cool. I'm like, okay, cool. Nice to meet you. And then I feel like a week later, a few days later, he calls me and he's like, yo, so I'm going to be at Emerson Station 88.9 live on the radio. Remember that thing you just did in my car? Can you just come meet me there and start singing? I was like, oh,
spit that on the live thing.
What are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean I'm going to show up at live radio station doing whatever I did randomly in your car to a beat I can't remember? And he's like, hey, yeah, it's going to be great. Come. I was like, okay. Like rushed and met you. And we did it. And that was Come With Me.
And it's funny. It's funny because while you sang it, I looked it up and I actually took a picture of me in the car at that time, and it's the picture that's actually on the Come With Me. It's not a cover, but here. So let me see. Let me see. So I think I showed this to you before. I might even play this on something we did together. So this was me in my car taking my quasi selfie of myself
that day.
It was during the same time frame. It probably wasn't the same day. I actually didn't remember that exactly the way that you said that. So that's cool. But there's the song. We gonna give him a piece of the song here.
Oh boy.
You evoked it. All right, let's see. Let's see what we hear here.
Wait, can I give a preface here though? Because whenever we play this song,
you need to give a preface.
Very sexual. Like we have not had sexual relations ever. It was just purely artistic. When you hear the song,
for the love of hip hop.
Where did we just go?
Like no, never. But it does sound like that because we were artistic and creative with it, and that's art, So I have to share that.
The other song on the album is talking about my intimate relationship with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So
Day and Night?
For anyone, which is funny because the song title is Day and Night. You know what I mean? And so it's like for anybody who was intimately listening to the album, that would have been self-explanatory. All right, so check it out.
Oh yeah, this is. Hey, what's good, baby? You're looking really nice. Why don't you hop in and let's find out?
I know a place that we can go.
I love your lipstick tip with your hand on a stick shift. Mischief, whip you through the red light district. This chick get it when she gets off work. Working hard, you deserve a little thickness and dirt. I know many flirt with you in your mini skirt. Use a dime, double nickel nines, make these pennies work. Smaller your back, hot wax, I'ma fill it in. Tickle it, leave your curves wet like it's drizzling. Throw $1 million in the fireplace, fireplace. Undercovers, cause I tap it like a wire trace. Up in my estate, fresh like princes. Belvedere, paparazzi up in Paris, Hilton's everywhere. Asymmetrical, multicultural. Look, got me booking model chicks by the multiples. Orgasmic, feel like a classic. Fit, make a hit, book a trip up in the Hamptons.
22.
We all lamping, flave like the enemy. Ratio with dimes all around me like this telling me. No jealousy, loosely committed. In love with your lace lingerie, loose fitting.
I know a place where we can go. Come with me. I know a place where we can go.
Where's that?
Come with me. I know a place where we can go.
Okay.
Come with me. I know a place where we can go. Oh, won't you come with
Never
me?
force it, baby doll face like porcelain. Hop in the hot tub, slide out your corset. Facing fortune, 40 most important. Entrepreneurs under 40 worth of fortune. Single with the debutantes, mingle in the restaurant scene with a Persian queen. Bringing is the Renaissance. Putting a weapon on some mother's daughter. In the royal chambers, spin them like revolvers. Gauge your caliber, age like 22. Many do anything just to get a simple view. Ride shotty with the most John Gottiest. Hotel lobby, it's a game to be the naughtiest. Where the party at? Always overhead, kid. Keep your voice low, mom. Thinking overhead shit. On some real shit. Chicks of a different sort. Screaming about pool. Got me skeeting like Olympic sports. Rocking short sets. Whisper pen. No need for cover up. She rocks
Are we listening to the whole song?
Knots and rings. Invite her over. Take a coke. Nothing on but a rhinestone choker. It's so.
I know a place where we can go.
Yeah.
Come with me. I know a place where we can go.
Where's that?
Come with me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
There we go. Dr. Noosh. Not sounding very doctorly there, Dr. Noosh.
At all.
what?
Oh my God.
Not sounding very
Dr. D.
doctorly
Who
there.
was that on there?
Yeah. Who was that?
I don't
Yo,
know.
so she's on the flip side of that. See right there where it says come with me right there. So she is on vinyl wax.
Mhm.
And she was also in that video, the Focus is Back video, which you can you can search. You know what's funny is recently the dude gave me the real HD quality copy of that, so I posted it. I think like last year because I always hated the quality of that video because it was on like 480 something like that. And so it was like I never like would show that video to anyone because it was like such crappy quality. Then he showed me the good one. I was like, dog, I would have promoted that one. But yeah, man.
Coming out of the, you know what's funny? That video was shot. So I used to have a different life and taught. I was a tax accountant for Deloitte. So I graduated, got my MBA, did the corporate thing. I was like a tax accountant at one of the tall buildings in Boston. And he would hit me up in the middle of the day, like, hey, you want to shoot this video real quick? Hey, you want to do this? And I'm like, okay. And so I remember I had an extra change of clothes in my like little cubicle, and I was like, okay, I can meet at whatever time. And so I remember I have a double life, sitting there doing my tax work. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to lunch. He picks me up at the office. I've already changed.
Like across the street, though.
Across the street, right? Like
yeah, because it was on the Hancock, and you were working on the other side of the Hancock.
On the other side, and I changed in the bathroom, and then had a big coat on, so no one could see what I was wearing underneath. Because I'm like,
and it looked like it looked like this.
Oh snap!
I go film this and go back to work right after.
She's never coming back.
Oh, the quality! Oh no!
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is like the low quality one, but the high quality one's out there somewhere too now. I filmed this in my old school too. Part of it.
The flow's chiseling, my beast mode is so grizzly, wintry, icy, boxed in blue Tiffany's. Too slippery, your verse so buttery. Marty should have made the symphony with Kane in front of me.
Such good lyrics, man. So good.
Keep it fully stocked up.
Oh, there we
are. Lovely.
Still never dated.
I see what's going on.
It's so 90s. I love it.
Isn't it though?
It might have been 90s, but it was 2005 when it came out on
But we never left the 90s.
I feel like the 90s. We like the 90s.
Well, the sampled sped up sample was definitely very 2003, 4, 5, 6.
I like these shots too, Pro.
Very creative. Who was that again?
that was my man from Secret Society, yo. I'll tell you after.
On the mother earth, flooded with the Jesus spit game like I'm Shuttlesworth. Staying humble first, half that I rap, then I'm coming off the bench and I'm padding my stats with platinum plaques. Bring them back to Boston, mass words like bird when I kiss him soft.
Oh, I miss Boston sometimes.
Ooh, wonder where that coming in.
Karl Malone.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
Shoot, he said talking that jazz. I don't think so.
Put the AK-47 on your back like Karolinko.
That was a really good basketball reference. That's so good.
I know what that is.
That was actually at my school. That was a part of Lower High there.
With all them crates?
Yeah, that was the Malloy School, Lowell High on Smith Street in Lowell, right there. I used to work there. I had actually already quit at this point, but I was still working there. I wasn't coming back the next year. So
presents and gifts, yes.
Yep.
Where they at?
You know their only son because he's in love with showbiz. Look, I forget that
was on beat.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You are
Mom
beat. It
would
was
have
on
liked me
beat.
as dad to a son, but I ain't done writing in my pad.
Yo, that's on beat.
Oh wow.
You're still not done writing in your pad, but you do have a son.
My math is flawless. I'm just trying to bring a plaque back home to Boston. Focus is back.
And the trumpet in that is cold though.
Now, Jay, remember those shots I told you? I was sitting in the car where we did one of the same shots. This is it, but it was the other one.
Yep. Yeah, those shots are dope, man.
Dotted Eye Music and Entertainment.
Yeah. It sound like New Bab got that on the mix, man, somewhere.
Yeah, he did do that. Zakin Bridge there. Yeah, that was fun. Look at the little bop in the walk. A little bop. What's going on?
Skipping.
I used to walk with a limp until I had to start walking with a limp with the Achilles, man. Now I got an excuse. Why you walking with a limp, bro?
Is that the unofficial sponsor?
Yeah, man. H&M.
H&M. You plug H&M?
Nah, that was just coming on.
We've been slacking. You know, we've been slacking.
What you say?
Did we perform the Infinity album? Like, did we pretend we were in a car on stage? At Bill's bar? Did we do that?
Kinda. Yeah. Kinda.
I remember that. That was like
that year for me is like still a blur. I mean, I say it all the time. People just think I'm like talking like, whatever. I did 100 shows.
Yeah.
I did 100 shows in 1 year when I had that album out. And, granted,
100.
a lot of them were in Boston. It was like I wasn't trying to fly at that time. I was trying to do anything it was within driving distance after the little escapade happened from 2005 to 2006. And I left Noosh stranded, man. Noosh and I were going to do a tour in Japan. And it was like Noosh had made all these plans. And I was like, I got hit by lightning on the way to Puerto Rico. And I was like, I can never fly again. And she was like,
we paid to be able to, we got sponsored by Red Bull, I think.
Yeah. But we had to pay something.
We had to pay a little bit something.
Yeah. And you paid your part up front.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. We'll book it. And then I was like, yeah.
I got the time off and everything from that tax job.
And then I was like,
I can't fly. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Can't do it. So I didn't fly for like forever after that, And I mean, I try to tell people it's like, like to put it short is like you can't be an artist and not fly. You know what I'm saying? You can't have records and not go to Europe. And that's what I did. Everybody else who had records out, they were like, yeah, I'm going to Europe. Go to Europe. I was like, nah, I'm good in New England.
You were doing your masters too, right?
Yeah,
were you doing
right.
masters?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
You were doing your masters at the same
Yeah,
time.
I was.
So busy. I would like show up in his car. He has like his,
math books,
music, and then math books, and then his he was teaching classes. His students. So I was just like,
yeah,
we gotta get together.
I was trying to throw the hip hop award shows in 2006 and 2007, and I had just enrolled in my master's program officially in 2006. I took a couple courses before to see if I really wanted to do it, and then you had you can only take a couple, and then you had to make the decision. It was like, or get off the pot. So I made the decision, and so I'm throwing hip hop award shows and not sleeping all year, doing these shows round the clock, and I'm like, I'm gonna do a math masters at the same time. It's like, yeah.
I remember the hip hop awards. Didn't we go present something together? I remember that.
Yeah,
pictures. I never took pictures.
I'm
watching. You're lucky you have
Talk
this.
about it all the time.
Yeah,
like,
I never take videos. Yeah, so I don't do.
Pro
videos.
don't sleep. He's really a robot. We know this, bro.
It's Noosh can hang with me. She'd be out. We do some shows like.
Hey, you guys are both Capricorns. Y'all in the same hemisphere on that, man. Look, I need my sleep. Pro knows too. I said Pro.
Noosh would leave her boyfriend. I'd leave my girlfriend. I'd pick her up at like 11 at night. We'd be like, let's go to clubs. and I'm like the local rap star, and she's like, a singer R&B girl coming to the show, and it's like, this is a weird look, People like swore we were dating. I was like,
everyone, including the people we were dating,
including our relationships. Yes, who we're no longer with. Surprise!
Woo!
Surprise!
I know you're doing something. I know you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, why would I ever? That was so dumb to actually mess with someone you're trying to do music with. Like, don't you see how that didn't work out?
That's like a law, basically.
No doubt. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out if you're doing
No, it doesn't. And not to mention, like, I was awful in the relationships I was in because I was only thinking music. I was so thinking music through all that, that exact era that, like, honestly, like, I didn't even think about women. It was like I'd go to people would say, look at these girls, look at these blah blah blah, these dime girls you're bringing to them, and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. And I was like in a fog.
Because that was true. Because actually, one thing that was helpful was that we would really be able to vouch for each other to the exes now, to the relationships. And I remember telling the girl all the time, like, he's really not entertaining the groupies or anything. He's just performing. And you would say, you were like, I'm always there. No one's gonna come over and hit on her while I'm there. Like, which was all true. Like, we really weren't. I remember even when we did the MMA events. That had a lot of grimy dudes, but people really didn't approach me really that much because they were with me. You know what I mean? And you would be there, and then other folks would be there. It was like,
and I was booking the ring girls I was booking the ring girls.
Yeah, but the ring girls are going at it. People are going after the ring girls, not me.
who I was hiring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was weird. Not all of them, but some of them.
And even like everybody was really more respectful. There was a different vibe there because, like, we did the Wu-Tang show. We did New Kids on the Block, like, which I didn't want to do New Kids on the Block, but then when I went, I was like,
New Kids on the
they have
Block
the
was my
show.
favorite when I was a little kid, man.
It had a huge following. It was crazy.
That whole joint.
Fee and I have a lot of stories about New Kids, man. A lot of stories.
I
Yeah.
bet.
Shallow and I were talking about New Kids a couple weeks ago. You know, it's funny. Is like I'll say this if anybody hasn't heard. We had New Kids come to like, I'm an old man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm older than everybody here. So I had New Kids come to their management come to our high school because they heard that there was a rapping, like basically we were like a rapping boy band. We did dance moves, we did flips and stuff, and it were like 4 of us and a DJ, right? And so they were like, we got to come see this. And what people didn't realize is New Kids on the Block, they recorded in Westford, Mass, which is one town over from where I went to high school. So in the middle of the woods, their studio was. Everyone's like, yeah, Mission Control, Boston, but they actually would record a lot of their stuff in Westford, right? And so the dude just came over. Talent Scouts came over from label, watched us do our thing, brought us back to Mission Control. And our manager at the time was Peter Handy in Boston. And you know, kind of like what Noosh was saying, Boston, for those of you who aren't familiar with Boston is very, in the college area, it's very white city, but Boston is not a white city. Boston itself, Boston proper, is Black and Latino. It's very Black and Latino, but you don't see that in the news. You see, you know, the colleges, Emerson College, Harvard, MIT, whatever. You know, you see sort of the more suburban side, but the outside of Boston, it is very suburban. So you get out to like Westford and that kind of stuff, yo, it's straight white, you know. So they had this recording studio out there, but then they'd go back to Boston to mix it, you know, right outside of Dudley Square. So we'd be there all the time. Our manager was there. We're going back and forth. They bring us down and they're like, sit us in the office. And me and Fee with this dude named Andy Devin, whatever. They sit us in the office and they're like, all right, so we're proposing, we want you to essentially, you know, New Kids are going to come off their thing and we want you to do the same thing, but just rap. And, you know, but we're going to have to make it much more marketable, much more. You guys are doing like battle rap kind of stuff with dance moves that are cool. We like the dance moves, not so much on the battle rap. We kind of want you to, you know, more melodic, you know, like very much what's out now, you know. And I was like, hell no, we ain't doing this, blah blah blah. Like no, that was the no sellout era, you know. So and dude would like try to reason with me, and you know, and Fee and I were kind of on the same page, and everybody else was like, "Are you crazy?" You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. I can't have myself come out with some record that comes out that's like me, like, you know, dressing in a suit and trying to sing, rap. At that time, that would have been, you know, destructive to your cred. You know what I mean? And so at the time, that was like so taboo. I wasn't trying to have any part of it. So when you say New Kids to me, it goes back to when I was 17. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm 16, 17 years old, it is like they envisioned us as that. And then they really went with Marky Mark. That's really what essentially happened. You know, Marky Mark was always in the plans. And they were like, yo, we're going to market some hip hop for this right at the right time. And we would end up doing shows side by side with all of them throughout for years. You know what I'm saying? So
he had that dope joint where he was working out or something like that with the chains and the boxing bag. Good vibrations.
Yeah. And that was right. That was like right after that had happened. That was like a year and a half after we had those first discussions. And we're like, nah, we're just gonna do our thing. We're just gonna go do our thing, whatever. And then we just did more and more like legit hip hop, as opposed to even stuff we were doing was like, I used to think it was great, and then in retrospect, I'm like, this is awful. Like that would have been like, what were people thinking wanting to work with us at that time? But
hey, we got LD watching. Shout out LD, Freedom Corner brand. Yo, you got a nice little segment at the beginning of this show. We talked about you.
I think he was probably watching too, because I noticed he was in the comments. Shout out to LD.
He might have missed it, but if not, yeah.
We need to Noosh, we definitely need to do some of those joint activities, like you said, whether they're workshops, whether there's some shows. We definitely, that's how we started. We were like, her and I are in the exact same lane. We came up together doing the same kind of stuff. She's singing, I'm rapping. She's doing poetry. I'm doing rapping and poetry, much more rapping. You know what I'm saying? She leaves her business job. I left mine. I went into education. I leave high school. I go into college. She goes into college. We both go into doctoral programs for the same topic.
We went into the same type of program at the same time
same time
with the same topic.
Yeah,
without
and
ever
we
talking
didn't even know it. And she's out in LA, and I'm here, and I'm like, yeah, what's your station on? I'm like,
Very weird.
mine's increasing STEM degree attainment for underrepresented populations.
I think that definitely needs to happen, and we need to get that bag.
Get that
Yes,
bag.
let's get
You,
that
you feel me there,
back.
Pro? I think we might have to leave with that one right there.
Oh, we're gonna leave.
Let's get that back.
Yo, how do people reach you, Dr. V? What's the best way for people to
Yeah.
get you before we jump into some of our music here?
Yeah. It's just at Dr. Do I type it? What do I do?
You can, or I can put it up as the as the band
Yeah.
for you there.
So it's just DRNOOSH _V.
All right. So I said I can do it, but I didn't do it. Hold on. Let's go here. Say it again. It's Dr. Noosh.
Yeah, _V.
Dr. Noosh _V. Bang. Boom. Like that.
Formerly Envy, but always really Envy.
But I forgot to put the at. What'd you say?
I said formerly known as Envy, but still always Envy.
Didn't I
And
invent
that's
that name for you
that's
too?
what
I
the
was
page
like,
look
your
like.
initials are Nooshin Valizadeh.
Go follow
Yeah.
her.
NV.
Go follow her.
You got NV. All right, cool.
You're like Envy, and then I was like, oh, cool, that's my name.
Remember that rap battle I did up in like New Hampshire, and there was some other Envy, and she was trying to gank your name. Remember that?
I remember.
Yeah.
Her name was Envy as well, and she was like, I was like, she's messing this up. She can't have the name Envy. That was so weird. She was like,
That's crazy. I didn't even have.
right before she was singing, she was like, my name
Yeah.
is. I was like, no.
I didn't even remember that memory until I just said it. I was like New Hampshire rap battle. I thought we only went to like Boston and
That
Clark.
might have been the New Kids show, actually.
Oh yeah. It was. It actually was. That's what it was. But I was.
You know what it was kind of like? Have you ever watched? I'm sure you watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It was the same venue. What's that?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
I be
you
teaching
know
my
how
dog.
when he goes to Toontown and he thinks he sees Jessica Rabbit, but it's like this imposter, like creepy looking woman. That's kind of what it was like.
Yeah.
She got the teeth. Got the teeth poking out like this, right?
Alcoholic, chain smoking version of me.
Yeah. It wasn't.
She had D battery teeth.
It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look.
I was about to say my name that day. I was like, I can't. And he was like, she's not. Nobody knows her. She's no. Don't worry about you.
You were our flyer girl for a while. You were.
I was the flyer girl.
You were a flyer girl. I just invented that term. I didn't know if there was such a term, but
yeah, it was you had me on a flyer. I might be able to pull that up somewhere.
Who was I? I don't know.
Tree, appreciate you sticking with us the whole show. We love you, girl.
Yo, let's play that baggage claim so we can get that bag, and we gotta get out of here in a minute. But we gonna leave him with this, Dr. Noosh. We gotta get that bag.
Absolutely.
Right, Fly?
Get that bag.
All right, let's get into it. Coming from the Instant Brotherhood album.
We're probably gonna be hearing a lot of this intro. We're gonna be hearing it.
Please watch your luggages. Hold the handrail.
I fly now, baby.
What's up?
Did you picking that up right there?
Picking it up right there?
Yeah, though.
Let me get that bag. Get that bag. By the time you hear this record, checking in the Turks and Caicos. Wheel of Fortune winners, proof to kind of spinning pesos. Pro progress, no, I'm no novice. Singles like vinyl sliding aligned in my home office. So stop it, look, there's no topic. I'm exploring for Claude, my ops is my optic. A couple plaques on the walls just for the optics. Degree in economics, make dividend stock options. And when I'm visiting citizens, wanna cap it. Give it my Will Smith with the superhero and coxy. Hand to hands, we can throw glam or cock it. Get pop like pop smoke, cause my fans are so toxic. But don't smoke like pilots in the cockpit. Lungs must stay aquatic to flow like road faucets. Non-violent is a rule, but don't cross it. Crews get on them jewels, but dudes, I'm no nonsense. I'll turn the cheek, but once and then I'm boxing. Body you in a bag that won't fit in that top bin. I'm locked in, so again, diagnostic. If y'all don't believe it, diagnostic.
By the time you hear the record, I'll be passing by the Eiffel. Jesus on the necklace, crews going for the title. Demons off the metrics, scaling with your idol. Always with a message, masterpieces in my Bible. United for the leverage, be eternal, we're surviving. I provided off the premise, let you see it start to follow. Yeah, And I've glided through my senses, so the census is bravado. Grinding through the inches, saving minutes for tomorrow.
Yes.
Carry over lyrics every chapter for the novel.
Yes.
Peaks and valleys in the rapture with the model. Authentic, no gimmick, self-made, not timid. Wide open, get in.
Had some snakes in our lawn, had a cancer and fraud. Spit that mongoose flow, y'all can handle the bars. Try to question law, y'all gonna answer the God, bro. It's not a good look like you in sandals and thongs. Y'all know a spit game, upper echelon, beyond the nick chain. Fast like who's in the street, making that quick change. I made a quick change like Clark in the booth. Now I target the youth that come talking that truth. The marketing boost, the PR, out of my reach. Unless I'm chilling on the shores of some tropical beach. And sand warm with warm sands, where waters are clear. I'm positive there, won't find me with no bottles of beer. I'm vegetarian, it probably what you thought that you had. This ain't no gimmick, I've been this way for dozens of years. My cousins and pairs, my family, my team on my squad. Sure as Ray Allen, Jesus, throw your threes for the guard, come on.
Oh Lord, say Lord, how you get him on the record? Lightsaber, no sword, guess we both futuristic. Round table billboards, hardcore, altruistic. Tongue razor might cause, so you know we go ballistic. But ballistics always missed it. Yellow tape around artistic messages from Chuck D. So Adidas laces missing. You know how I run me, DeLoreans all over sketches. Catch some bomb beat, I don't mess with politicians. Knowledge over aid, then code over precious flow, over precious great modes in the essence. Black mold in the essence, unfold over crescents that lead the wolves out. Hungry, questions, we just pull the soul out. Mummies, weapons, I'ma call the cold out. Worry, blessings, then I pump the clothes out. Left, right, every blessing just to get the gold out. Crypto, coin the message.
Let's get this bag, it's Jay. Get that bag, get that bag. You need to get that bag, get that bag, get that bag, get that bag, get that bag. Get that bag, get that bag. Pro Quo, we gonna get that bag. Get that bag, we gonna get that bag.
Dr. V, she gonna get that bag.
We out.
We out, y'all. Yeah. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. We're gonna have Fly flying out to Boston. We're gonna have Pro Quo flying out to Mississippi. Yeah.
Take the bus when you can, man. Take the bus.
Take the bus here.
Still got that in me, man. I'm always down for the bus. I get some good writing in.
Hit you with a shot of Benadryl or something like that. Whatever makes you drowsy.
I don't take anything. I never will,
no,
never can.
Never have.
Nope.
There you go.
No. All right, Dr. V.
Yeah.
I see you checking your messages over there.
Yeah, I have a it's off work hours, but definitely having a meeting request.
It's definitely off work hours for us at 11:04 on Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, it's 8 on a Friday, and I'm getting requests for meetings.
Man,
but got to get everything done before the baby comes.
Yes, you do.
There you go.
We know what we're having.
We
know what we're having.
We're having a boy.
Oh,
congrats. The sex is male. We know that.
Congrats.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well said, by the way. Well said, by the way. I see what you're doing.
So I have a daughter. She's almost 7, and then I'll have this little one, and then I'm done for show.
And if you do the math, the daughter that's almost 7, and you think about Dr. Noosh, when did you get your doctorate? 2016 or 15?
14.
14.
No.
15.
Wait. No, you're right. 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm checking up on you. 15 plus 7 would be 22. So I'm thinking that some doctorate work was coming to a culmination, and then your daughter was about ready to come into creation.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. You mean when I was pregnant?
Yeah.
Yep. I did my doctorate program. I got in 2012. So at the end of
me too.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
And then it's so weird.
It's so weird.
And that year,
I finished in 16 like a normal person.
Right. I went crazy. So that 2013. So I was engaged in 2012. Started my doctorate program. Got married in 2013. Had the baby in 2014, and then finished my program in 2015. It was crazy.
I think you actually started. I thought you started after me and finished before me, but maybe it was at the same time.
I started fall of 2012.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Well, I might not have started in the fall. but I don't remember when I started. You know what? I did start for you because I had to do my summer residency. They start you with the residency in the summer, and so I started in like whatever that was, July or August. So look, I started before her and I finished after her.
And you didn't even have a baby during that time or get married.
No, I did. I did have a baby during that time.
You did? Okay.
My son, it was crazy. It was insane. My son was born in 2013 in April. It was crazy. So my wife was like,
"This on your as a dissertation committee member."
You did sit in my dissertation committee. It's crazy.
My fellow Taurus.
Who?
My fellow Taurus.
Henry? Is he Taurus?
Henry.
Oh, you're talking about Henry as your fellow.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying we were your fellow. I was like, Capricorns, baby.
I was like, don't say Taurus around.
No cap. Yeah, no cap.
Oh no. Yeah,
Taurus.
I'm definitely a Taurus. Definitely a Taurus.
They're fun.
We all bullheaded.
Difficult.
We all bullheaded.
Hey,
how come we can't?
I'm easy to get along with.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear what Fly was saying. Fly was saying something. I don't know what he was saying. I can't hear Fly.
No.
He looks
muted.
We all a little bullheaded, man.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
What are you? What is your
If I really, Leo. If I had to have one.
You're a Leo.
Yeah, I was born in August.
If I had to have one.
That's my daughter. My daughter's August 8th. She's August 8th.
I'm funny about zodiac signs, man.
I'm funnier than you are. Don't worry about it. I'm funny.
What, devilish? Is it devilish?
Nah, I don't know how I feel about star alignments.
Don't worry, I'm with you.
In my life, my entire life.
I'm with you. I believe in it. I believe in it this much. But
I agree with everything said about Capricorns.
I am exactly what they say as a Capricorn, though. I mean, but that's it's a coincidence. Because we can find 70 million who it has nothing to do with whatsoever.
Yeah, you and I being eerily similar has to be more than just our birthdays being close.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but I was until I met you, I was actually mad introvert in terms of like going out in public and stuff like that. Like I was like, I mean, you're an extrovert to like the 12th power when you're out in public, and I'm like not like that. I'm like, who is this? So you would get to be me. You would get to do what I want to go do. You know what I'm saying? You go meet all those people and go talk to them, and I'll sit in the back. You know what I'm saying?
I remember.
Yo, Miguel, what up, bro?
All right, everybody. I'm gonna turn in.
Yeah.
Dr. V, Dr. Nooshin, appreciate you coming on again. It was a pleasure as always. Can't wait for your next workshop. I'm excited about that.
Yes. Well, let's do it together.
Yeah,
let's put something together.
Definitely.
I would love that.
Pro Quo Show.
Last thing. By the way, I was reading the news today. I saw about California June 15th rolling back on their whole COVID stuff. Yeah. Crazy. Are you guys? I take it to mean that means you guys are fully back in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you not?
It's up in the air. But it looks like parts of the university will be and parts of it will not. So depends what your buildings are like and so forth. I think I'm in the won't have to go back building. So not mad at that.
Oh, you mean
at all?
Oh, you mean the university?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I don't know about that.
Oh, just
because like kids like school.
No, I mean my son is now back 2 days a week. Yeah. 2 days a week. Yeah. They will be back in the fall, but you can opt out if you want to. But
nice.
But yeah, no, I meant for your schools out there, the institutions.
No, I'm not going to be teaching on campus because I'll have a newborn.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll see. I'm gonna stick with. I honestly, I make that bag. I make more money doing things.
Bag. I know. Tell me about it.
Individually and individually around my own time. So hopefully I'll do some more in person, but I'm not going to do it 1 or 2 days a week in person thing for a little while.
Yeah.
Like hard on me.
Yep.
Cool.
That now we're traffic, y'all.
Yes.
Stay away.
All right.
All right. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you, Fly.
My pleasure, Doc. I can't wait to get that book. Where can we get the book from when it comes out?
So there's an Eventbrite link, I believe. Let me actually see if I can.
So it's not on this date, but
June 2nd.
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. It's on the June 2nd. That's right. And it's, let me see.
Oh, okay. I see it on your all right.
Yeah, it's actually on my site, on my Instagram profile, but I don't know if the new date is on there yet. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, if you go on my Instagram profile, you'll see that you can get tickets for the event on June 2nd, which is at 6:30, 9:30 your time. And then you can get the book as well. I am going to have an Audible. We'll see when the Audible gets done, but it is coming. I would love to make it so that the Audible, if it doesn't cost me too much, that I can just, anyone who bought the book in the first, release time will be able to have the Audible for free is kind of what I'd like to do. So that would be nice.
I like the little philanthropy.
Yeah. So please do support the press. It'll also be on Amazon, but that doesn't really help us at all. It's the same cost, and then it doesn't help us. But if you order it through the press, then I can actually sign an autographed copy for you.
Yeah.
So yay. All right. Well, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for your support.
Likewise.
Be in touch. Anyone watching, hit me up. I would love to connect.
Cool. Peace,
right.
Dr. V. Dr. V's out. Yo, that was cool.
Yeah.
Sorry we were dominating there on our personal man,
it was great history. It was great history.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we only invite people up here we know and like. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's your show. It's your show, B.
That's what we do.
Only way.
That's what we do. We know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good people. So that's what we bring up. You know what I mean?
But yo, I'm about to go have some Chipotle with my queen. And go to sleep. Get ready for tomorrow for my mom's birthday. We going to the Ville. Gonna celebrate a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna be getting that Gravity video edited at the same time. I'm gonna actually I'm not gonna bring the computer to Somerville tomorrow because it's my mom's day.
What? You got a day off tomorrow?
No, I gotta work.
Oh,
after work. I'm a 6-day guy.
I know you're a 6-day guy, man. You're a 6-day creature, man.
And I just want to shout out to Sun-Made Raisins for holding down
the most unofficial sponsor.
Yes, with the yogurt raisins.
Those are the bomb, yo. They're chewy.
Yogurt raisins.
And sweet.
I'm gonna bust into
those are my favorite, bro.
Yes. So Sun-Made, we hear you, we see you, we feel you, we need you.
Remember back in the days when they had them the Christmas cartoons, but they were like the clay cartoons, and they had the Raisinette song.
Yeah. Go heard it through the grapevine.
Pro Quo. We need one of them. We gotta have you.
See the grapes turn into raisins. Heard it through the grapevine.
There you go. Heard it through the grapevine. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace out. I appreciate you, brother Pro. We'll be talking.
Absolutely. Peace, y'all.
Thank you, everybody, loving on us and joining the show, man. Appreciate it.